Okay, so... That looks good. Like, I do... Like, everything's readable. Everything's readable. That's the word I'm looking for. I still wish we could make it look a little bit better, though, but I don't know quite how I would go about doing that, admittedly. That is something that I'm trying to figure out. 9 not secret levels. Okay, so we're almost halfway through. So we should be able to... We're making good progress, then. Halfway point, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, as long as it's readable, it works, but I still... Guild Wars is such a pretty game that I want to make it look its prettiest. Well, it's looking fine at the moment. Typically, when I make it force scale, it doesn't look as good, but as long as it... Yeah, okay. I'll call it good this time, because Guild Wars is readable, like... I can make the names out, I don't know. I seem to have a little bit more problems streaming PC games than console games, and I've been noticing that because I like a lot of PC games, but I want to get better about streaming PC games as well. But anyways, while I wait for Kate, I'll let her know she can take her time as well. Oh, pardon me. But, okay. I should also probably change the stream info. What episode of Guild Wars were we on? 20, so we're up to 21? Yes. Okay, so while we wait, I do want to go ahead, switch characters while we wait, just because there's like I know there's at least one guaranteed spot, and this character, who's my main now, hasn't gotten there quite yet. I'll go on my old main, just because I don't know. Elementalist just doesn't have as... Elementalist kind of got the short end of the stick, unfortunately, throughout the lifetime of updates for Guild Wars, which is really unfortunate, because I really like Elementalist. It's just... It really doesn't work, but yeah, this is where my favorite piece in the track can play. We'll see if we get it to play. It doesn't always play, but I remember at least being here and a couple people always being here, and it's like, this was 10 years ago, maybe longer, and it's like, you still get people through outpost missions, but it's a shame. I kind of want them to do a Guild Wars Classic, but I don't know what they would do for a Guild Wars Classic. Update the graphics a bit. Do some skill balances. That's about all I'd really want them to do, because I wouldn't want them to touch much else. I'd be worried ArenaNet would go ahead and try to push their agendas onto it like they have with Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 1 mostly doesn't have that. Really, my character's probably pretty cool in this. I don't even remember what her base... Oh, that's right, okay. We'll just go ahead and do this while we wait for Kate. We'll read about St. Maximin Colby. This is not my favorite track in the game, by the way, at the moment. It can play after like 5 or so minutes. We'll see if we get to hear it tonight or not. So, we'll go ahead and try to read 7 pages of A Man for Others while we wait for Kate. So, let us begin. Francis Milesco's memories indicate that Colby's prayers may have obtained more than just success at passing SS friskings for his fellow prisoners. Hint at why, in spite of the fact they were already imprisoned in 1940 or 1941. Pardon me. So many associated with Father Maximilian are among the 65,000 survivors out of 405,000 on camp rolls. Only 5,000 were found alive in the camp itself. Lesko, who today lives in Webster, Massachusetts, is the man who recalled how the news of Father Kolbe's arrival at Auschwitz went around the death camp. He says, "Like many, I had heard a lot about him before the war. He was famous as the man whose daily newspaper beat out all his competitors. They used to lay traps for him to try and stop him, but he came out of every ambush with more circulation than before. His secret? Ah, that was Maria. I had become a member of his spiritual militia, but I had seen his bearded face only in photographs. When word circulated that Father Maximilian was in the transport of prisoners, I said to myself, I want to see him. And I tried to find him. No easy matter, since there were 28 blocks, each with 600 or 700 prisoners, all reduced to bony, clean-shaven figures in the same striped pants and top. Even his beard would be gone. It was also dangerous to walk through other blocks when you weren't known, asking questions. Ted Wojcicka recalls a priest friend now in Canada who did rely on his being a priest to protect him, believing him a phony, a Nazi plant. Other prisoners beat him up. After some futile efforts, I abandoned the search. I didn't know that shortly after I gave up, he was moved to my block so that we were rubbing shoulders every day as we queued up for soup. For work, for the daily counts, that we were sleeping near each other on the floor and perhaps exchanging the nasty vermin who crawled from one sleeping man to another, carrying typhus and other diseases. During this time, when he was in my block, except for a few intimate friends of his, people didn't know who he was. He gave his occupation such general terms that no one realized this was the famous Maximilian Kolbe of Neapolitano. And I think that was what he wanted, to become like the rest of us, just another Adam, as we say, an everyman, rather than someone special. What strikes me now is that he was the man who didn't boast. At this time, every Sunday during the count, a list of about 20 consecutive numbers would be read. Then the order would be repeated. Tomorrow, do not report for work. Remain your block. At 9 o'clock, your block foreman will take you to the kitchen. What this meant was that Monday you would be shot. I thought I heard a noise. Okay. All of us knew that well because it happened the same way each week. While the rest of the camp was at work, the men whose numbers had been called were ordered to undress. Then they were taken to the execution wall beside Block 11 and shot in the back of the head. We would see their corpses stacked up when we came back. These numbers were following a sequence. They passed 6,000, then 7,000. My number was in the 7,400s. A day came when I figured out I had only a week of life left. Next Sunday would be my last. I wanted to go to confession. Although there were 2 Diocesan priests from Poznan in Block 14, I didn't want to go to them because they were close friends of mine. I told them all this, and they said, that's all right, there's another priest in the block. Only then did I find out that he was Maximilian Kolbe. He was glad to hear my confession. It was strictly against the rules, of course, so we did it while walking along outside as if we were just talking. When it came time for absolution, he shook my hand. That was the sign we had prearranged. He encouraged me also, but he knew from the way I encouraged others that I was not breaking down. There was nothing dramatic. I think he said he would pray for me, but that would certainly not be unusual under the circumstances. That was a Friday or a Saturday. The next day, Sunday, I expected my number to come up and to be shot on Monday. Sunday came and they didn't call any numbers. It was like a miracle, and so here I am today, still alive. Later they begin again, but somehow with numbers past mine. Even when they backtracked eventually to pick up the missing ones, these never included mine. I was so hardened, I can only repeat the whole thing was very much like a miracle. And although I said nothing to anyone about my thoughts, interiorly, I made some connections between what had happened and Father Maximilian's hearing what I think I explained to him would be my last confession. In February 1941, after 6 weeks in Pawiak, Father Sigismund Rozuska, a younger priest, was shipped to Auschwitz. As a seminarian, he had met Kolbe. Except for Konrad Swesda's, his is the only priest portrait of Kolbe in Auschwitz. How great was his immeasurable, marvelous humanity. He was so good. He loved God more than himself, and he loved every man in God. One apostle. I can't say I made that kind of impression as a priest. I was afraid of suffering, and my desire to live was so intense I was always searching opportunities to eat. One day I was supporting Father Maximilian under the arm as we walked and talked when I felt that he stuck a piece of bread in my coat. But then you won't have any, Father, I argued. insincerely, for I desperately wanted to eat that bread at once. Have it here. You're young. You need it more than I. But surely you're hungry, Father, I protested weakly. I'm not hungry, assured me. Here, take it. So I ate greedily. It was really pain vitae, the bread of life for me. Once I remember, he also gave me some soup. Although, like every other prisoner, oh, there it is. There's my favorite song of the game. I'm gonna trade up some more. There's just something about the song that I really love. Although, like every other prisoner, he wore dirty, torn clothes with a bowl hanging at his side, worn out, degraded human skeleton of a man, like the rest, somehow in him, all that was obliterated by the charm of his spiritualized countenance and his sanctity radiating from his personality. I never met him without feeling a real emanation of his goodness and wonderful peace in my soul. I liked to look into his beautiful, deep-set eyes, which had such warmth, charm, and sweetness. In a certain sense, the concentration camp was beneficial to me. There was certainly nothing routine about my prayers. Intense anguish, filled with the deepest faith, and salted with tears. That's how I prayed at Auschwitz. When I came in contact with Father Kolbe, I was still reproaching God rebelliously. Why? Why? How can you permit all this? At that time, Father still bore bruises and signs of beating, but he never complained. It was he who helped me penetrate the meaning of suffering. I remember a day I met him on the assembly square. I asked him to hear my confession. It was a great thing to me, to confide my sins and difficulties to a saint, and to receive absolution and comfort from his lips. My confession ended, he said. Now I want to go to confession to you, and I heard him. Today I thank God for such graces, and that he bequeathed to me an iota of his great spirit. It can be said there is no Father Kolbe without his love for the Blessed Mother of Christ. But this love of his was sublime, theological, universal. One had to be a kindred spirit, an identical soul to understand him. In this veritable hell of the greatest suffering and cruelty, of satanic degradation, of cursing, and the misery of sin. To me, he was like the flash of a brilliant light of God and beauty. We were talking one Sunday. I asked, will we ever leave this place, be free? You will be free, he said emphatically. Pardon me. You will live to see freedom. Then he added, we all have a mission to fulfill. All of us here suffering in this camp. You will get out. I will not, because I have a mission. The Immaculata has a mission to fulfill. He spoke as always with quiet conviction. Who was Father Kolbe? That will remain forever God's deep mystery. Okay. Let's go ahead and continue. Actually, I forgot to check to see if Kate was ready. Come on, Kate. It's been half an hour. What are you doing? What are you doing? We'll message her again in a second. She's probably still playing Valheim. Oh, there she is. Probably is still doing that, yeah. Okay. Perhaps one of those kindred spirits Father Ruzeska mentions who really understood Kolbe's message in veterinarian Ladislaus Lukautswitz. Lukautswitz knew Father Maximilian prior to Auschwitz, having spent about a year at Neapolkanau in 1937, at age 17. Before deciding his vocation was not to religious life, he was 20 to Kolbe's 47 in 1941, when they met again in imprisonment. From the very first day he arrived at the death camp, I often met him following the evening roll call. Although his head was usually bent forward, perhaps because of his poor health, he spoke slowly and low. His words gave me hope and strength to support the camp sufferings. with great, deep satisfaction and joy. After listening to him, I felt myself no longer afraid to die, a prospect constantly threatening one. From our conversations, I learned that the Germans had pillaged the friary, carried away its printing equipment, and that he had been cruelly beaten in Warsaw. But he did not speak willingly of his sufferings and accepted all this peacefully. He was assigned to the heaviest labor down by the Sola River. When the capo beat him savagely, I had to learn this from Father Pius Bartosisk. I questioned Father Maximilian, pressed him for a reply, and finally he admitted it. I expressed my deep sorrow. He replied that he was glad to suffer, that everything came from the Lord. All one could see in him was peace, humility, total submission to God's will, and great compassion for his fellow prisoners. Till his death, he was my confessor. His last fatherly word to me was, "Keep yourself far from even little sins." Sometimes I wanted to lend him a few pennies so that he could buy a little soup in the canteen, but he wouldn't accept so much so as not to diminish my money, but he was ready to give anything of his own to others. We were always angling for easier work. He said, "It's all the same to me. May God's will be done." While the rest of us impatiently looked for liberation, he never said he'd like to go back to Neapolicano, but instead said he wanted whatever God and the Immaculata wanted. That will be best. Another trait I noticed was that whereas other priests and brothers would talk of their hunger and longing for a morsel of bread, in this camp, where a piece of bread made the difference between life and death, Father Maximilian simply never mentioned such things. Plunged in God, he lived as though he were in another world. I inquired a few times into his inner life. It was certainly different from ours. There was in him, I believe, a special grace, for he was always serene, his spirit at peace. He had the gift of prayer. I often saw him walking along, his head bent slightly forward, wrapped in prayer, and since he fulfilled God's will and commandments, he possessed the love of God. In the concentration camp where we were crushed by inhuman sufferings and robbed of faith, he not only accepted everything as from God's hand, but thanked him and loved him all the more. I think the music ended at a perfect time there. Okay, I'm gonna see if she's ready. We're gonna see if Kate was ready. Does not look like she is quite yet. Well, why don't we go ahead and just keep reading while we wait then? I'll probably put a note on OBS here real quickly so people know that's what's going on instead of coming in. Let me grab my copy of Father Brown. Give me 1 second. Okay. She hasn't responded back yet. Let's go ahead and read Father Brown. Which story am I on? Let's see. It looks like we are on the Perishing of the Pendragons. Let's turn this back down, though, because... Yeah? Oh, that would explain why. Duh. I am a very special child. Okay. The Perishing of the Pendragons. Father Brown was in no mood for adventures. He had lately fallen ill with overwork, and when he began to recover, his friend Flambeau had taken him on a cruise on a small yacht with Sir Cecil Fanshawe, a young Cornish gameman, a young Cornish squire, an enthusiast for Cornish coast scenery. But Brown was still rather weak. He was no very happy sailor, though he was never the sort that either grumbles or breaks down. His spirits did not rise above patience and civility. When the other two men praised the ragged violet sunset or the ragged volcanic crags, he agreed with them. When Flambeau pointed out a rock shaped like a dragon, he looked at it and thought it was very like a dragon. When Fanshawe more excitedly indicated a rock that was like Merlin, he looked at it and signified assent. Pardon me. When Flambeau asked whether this rocky gate of the Twisted River was not the gate of Fairyland, he said yes. He heard the most important things and the most trivial with the same tasteless absorption. He heard that the coast was death to all but careful seamen. He also heard that the ship's cat was asleep. He heard that Fanshawe couldn't find his cigar anymore. He also heard the pilot deliver the oracle, both eyes bright, she's all right, one eye winks, down the sinks. He heard Flambeau say to Fanshawe that no doubt this meant the pilot must keep both eyes open and be spry. And he heard Fanshawe say to Flambeau that oddly enough, it didn't mean this. It meant that while they saw two of the coast lights, one near and the other distant, exactly side by side, they were in the right river channel, but that if one light was hidden behind the other, they were going on the rocks. He heard Fanshawe add that his country was full of such quaint fables and idioms. It was the very home of romance. He even pitted the part of Cornwall against Devonshire as a claimant to the laurels of Elizabethan seamanship. According to him, there had been captains among those coves and isles compared with whom Drake was practically a landsman. Pardon me. He heard Flambeau laugh, and ask if perhaps the adventurous title of Westward Ho only meant that all Devonshire men wished they were living in Cornwall. He heard Fanshawe say there was no need to be silly, that, pardon me, not only had Cornish captains been heroes, but that they were heroes still, that near that very spot there was still an old admiral, now retired, who was scarred by the thrilling voyages full of adventures, and who had in his youth found in the last group of 8 Pacific islands that was added to the chart of the world. The Cecil Fanshawe was in person, of the kind that commonly urges such crude but pleasing enthusiasms, a very young man, a light-haired, high-colored, with an eager profile, with a boyish bravado of spirits, but an almost girlish delicacy of tint and type. The big shoulders, black brows, and black mousquetaire swagger Flambeau were a great contrast. All these trivialities Brown heard and saw, but heard them as a tired man hears a tune in the railway wheels, or saw them as a sick man sees the pattern of his wallpaper. No one can calculate the turns of mood in convalescence, but Father Brown's depression must have had a great deal to do with his mere unfamiliarity with the sea. For as the river mouth narrowed like the neck of a bottle, and the water grew calmer and the air warmer, and more earthy, he seemed to wake up and take notice like a baby. They had reached that phase just after sunset when air and water both looked bright, but earth and all its growing things looked almost black by comparison. About this particular evening, however, there was something exceptional. It was one of those rare atmospheres in which a smoked glass slide seems to have been slid away from between us and nature, so that even dark colors on that day looked more gorgeous than bright colors on cloudier days. The trampled earth of the river banks and the peaty stain in the pools did not look drab, but glowing umber, and the dark woods astir in the breeze did not look, as usual, dim blue, pardon me, with mere depths or distance, but more like wind-tumbled masses of some vivid, violent blossom. This magic clearness and intensity in the colors was further forced on Brown's slowly reviving senses by something romantic and even secret in the very form of the landscape. The river was still well wide and deep enough for a pleasure boat so small as theirs, but the curves of the countryside suggested that it was closing in on either hand. The woods seemed to be making broken and flying attempts at bridge building, as if the boat were passing from the romance of a valley to the romance of a hollow, and so to the supreme romance of a tunnel. Beyond this mere look of things, there is little for Brown's freshening fancy to feed on. He saw no human beings except some gypsies trailing along the riverbank. Okay, so before I say this term does have multiple meanings. I don't really mind the term period. Well, actually I do. It's not really a very nice term, but anyways, with faggots and oysters cut in the forest, and one sight no longer unconventional, but in such remote parts still uncommon, a dark-haired lady, bareheaded, and paddling her own canoe. If Father Brown ever attached any importance to either of these, he certainly forgot them at the next turn of the river, which brought in sight a singular object. So actually, now that I think about it, while I may disagree with people that happen to act on same-sex attraction, I would not want to call them that word, because it is a derogatory term. So it's like, that's not going to help them draw closer to Christ. So no, I do actually dislike that word in the context of how we use it today, not in the context of the book, because faggot is also another word for cigarette, so. Actually, that's the original definition of it. Awful good. Anyways, continuing on. The water seemed to widen and split, being cloven, but actually I do wonder why that changed, honestly. Anyways, the water seemed to widen and split, being cloven by the dark wedge of a fish-shaped and wooded islet. With the rate at which they went, the islet seemed to swim towards them like a ship with a very high prow, or to speak more strictly, a very high tunnel. For at that extreme point nearest them stood up an odd-looking building, unlike anything they could remember or connect with any purpose. It was not specially high, but was too high for its breadth to be called anything but a tower, yet it appeared to be built entirely of wood, and that in a most unequal and eccentric way. Some of the planks and beams were of good seasoned oak, some of such wood cut raw and recent, some again of white pine wood, and a great deal more the same sort of white wood painted black with tar. These black beams were set crooked or crisscross at all kinds of angles, giving the whole a most patchy and puzzling appearance. There were one or two windows, which appeared to be colored and leaded in an old-fashioned but more elaborate style. The travelers looked at it with that paradoxical feeling we have when something reminds us of something. Yet we are certain it is something very different. Father Brown, even when he was mystified, was clever in analyzing his own mystification. He found himself reflecting that the oddity seemed to consist in a particular shape, cut out in an incongruous material, as if one saw a top hat made of tin, or a frock coat cut out of tartan. He was sure he had seen timbers of different tints arranged like that somewhere, but never in such architectural proportions. The next moment, a glimpse through the dark trees told him all he wanted to know, and he laughed. Through a gap in the foliage, there appeared for a moment one of those old wooden houses, faced with black beams, which are still to be found here and there in England, but which most of us see imitated in show called Old London or Shakespeare's England. It was in view only long enough for the priest to see that, however old-fashioned, it was a comfortable and well-kept country house, with flower beds in front of it. It had none of the piebald and crazy look of the tower that seemed made out of its refuse. "What on earth's this?" said Flambeau, who was still staring at the tower. Fancher's eyes were shining, and he spoke triumphantly. "Aha! You've not seen a place quite like this before, I fancy. That's why I've brought you here, my friend. Now you shall see whether I exaggerate about the mariners of Cornwall. This place belongs to old Pendragon, whom we call the Admiral, though he retired before getting the rank. The spirit..." Ooh, this one's a long one. It's not that long. Maybe not that long. 14 pages, 2 pages longer than what typical. Anyways. The spirit of Raleigh and Hawkins is a memory with the Devon folk. It's a modern fact with the Pendragons. If Queen Elizabeth were to rise from the grave and come up this river in a gilded barge, she would be received by the Admiral in a house exactly such as she was accustomed to, in every corner and casement, in every panel on the wall or plate or on the table, and she would find an English captain still talking fiercely of fresh lands to be found in little ships, as much as if she had dined with Drake. She'd found a rum sort of thing in the garden, said Father Brown, which would not please her Renaissance eye. That Elizabethan domestic architecture is charming in its way, but it's against the very nature of it to break out into turrets. And yet, answered Fanshawe, that's the most romantic and Elizabethan part of the business. It was built by the Pendragons on the very day of the Spanish Wars, and although it's needed patching, even rebuilding for another reason, it's always been rebuilt in the old way. The story goes that the lady of Sir Peter Pendragon built it in this place, and to this height, because from the top you can just see the corner where vessels turn into the river mouth. She wished to be the first to see her husband's ship, as he sailed home from the Spanish Main. For what other reason? Asked Father Brown. Do you mean that it has been rebuilt? Oh, really? That's a strange... there's a strange story about that, too, said the young squire with relish. You're really in the land of strange stories. King Arthur was here, and Merlin, and the fairies before him. The story goes that Sir Peter Pendragon, whom I fear had some of the faults of the pirates as well as the virtues of the sailor, was bringing home 3 Spanish gentlemen in honorable captivity, intending to escort them to Elizabeth's court. But he was a man of flaming and tigerish temper, and coming to high words with one of them, he caught him by the throat and flung him by accident or design into the sea. The second Spaniard, who was the brother of the first, instantly drew his sword and flew at Pendragon. But after a short but furious combat in which both got 3 wounds in as many minutes, Pendragon drove his blade through the other's body, and the second Spaniard was accounted for. As it happened, the ship had already turned into the river mouth and was close to comparatively shallow water. The third Spaniard sprang over the side of the ship, struck out for the shore, and was soon near enough to stand up to his waist in water. And turning again to face the ship, and holding up both arms to heaven, like a prophet calling plagues upon a wicked city, he called out to Pendragon in a piercing, terrible voice that he at least was yet living, that he would go on living, and he would live forever, and that generation after generation the house of Pendragon should never see him or his, but should know by very certain signs that he and his vengeance were alive. With that he dived under the wave, and was either drowned or swam so long under water that no hair or head was seen afterwards. There's that girl in the canoe again, said Flambeau irreverently, for good-looking young women would call him off any topic. She seems bothered by the queer tower just as we were. Indeed, the black-haired young lady was letting her canoe float slowly and silently past the strange islet. She was looking intently up at the strange tower, with a strong glow of curiosity on her oval olive face. Never mind, girl, said Fanshawe impatiently. There are plenty of them in the world, but not many things like the Pendragon Tower, as you may easily suppose. Plenty of superstitions and scandals have followed in the track of the Spaniard's curse, and no doubt, as you would put it, any accident happening to this Cornish family would be connected with it by rural credulity. But it is perfectly true that this tower has been burnt down 2 or 3 times, and the family can't be called lucky for more than 2, I think. The admiral's near kin have perished by shipwreck, and one at least to my own knowledge, on practically the same spot where Sir Peter threw the Spaniard overboard. What a pity, exclaimed Flambeau. She's going. When did your friend the Admiral tell you this family history? Asked Father Brown, as the girl in the canoe paddled off, without showing the least intention of extending her interest from the tower to the yacht which Fanshawe had already caused to lie alongside the island. Many years ago, replied Fanshawe. He hasn't been to sea for some time now, though he's as keen on it as ever. I believe there's a family compact or something. Well, here's the landing stage. Let's come ashore and see the old boy. They followed him on the island, just under the tower, and Father Brown, whether from the mere touch of dry land, or the interest of something on the other bank of the river, which he stared at very hard for some seconds, seemed singularly improved in briskness. They entered a wooded avenue between 2 fences of the thin grayish wood, such as often enclose parks or gardens, and over the top of which the dark trees tossed to and fro like black and purple plumes upon the hearse of a giant. The tower, as they left it behind, looked all the quainter, because such entrances are usually flanked by 2 towers, and this one looked lopsided. But for this, the avenue had the usual appearance of the entrance to a gentleman's grounds, and being so curved that the house was... that the house was now out of sight, something looked a much larger park than any plantation on such an island could really be. Father Brown was perhaps a little fanciful in his fatigue, but he almost thought the whole place might be growing larger, as things do in a nightmare. Anyhow, a mystical monotony was the only character of their march, until Fanshawe suddenly stopped and pointed to something sticking out through the gray fence. Something that looked at first rather like the imprisoned horn of some beast. Closer observation showed that it was a slightly curved blade of metal that shone faintly in the fading light. Flambeau, who like all Frenchmen had been a soldier, bent over and said in a startled voice, "Why, it's a saber. I believe the sword heavy and curved, but shorter than the cavalry. They used to have them in artillery, and the..." As he spoke, the blade plucked itself out of the crack it had made and came down again with a more ponderous slash, splitting the fissiparous fence to the bottom with a rending noise. Then it was pulled out again, flashed above the fence some feet farther along, and again split it halfway down with the first stroke, and after waggling a little to extricate itself, accompanied with curses in the darkness, split it down to the ground with a second. Then a kick of devilish energy sent the whole loosened square of thin wood flying into the pathway, and a great gap of dark coppice gaped in the paling. Fanshawe appeared into the dark, opening and uttered an exclamation of astonishment. "My dear Admiral," he exclaimed, do you generally cut out a new front door whenever you want to go for a walk?" The voice in the gloom swore again, and then broke into a jolly laugh. "No," it said. "I really got to cut down this fence somehow. It's spoiling all the plants, and no one else here can do it, but I'll only carve another bit off the front door, then come out and welcome you." And sure enough, he heaved up his weapon once more, hacking twice, brought down another and smaller strip of fence, making the opening about 14 feet wide in all. Then, through this larger forest gateway, he came out into the evening light, with a chip of gray wood sticking to his sword blade. He momentarily fulfilled pardon me. He momentarily fulfilled all Fanshawe's fable of an old piratical admiral, though the details seemed afterwards to decompose into accidents. For instance, he wore a broad-brimmed hat as protection against the sun, but the front flap of it was turned up straight to the sky, and the two corners pulled down lower than the ears, so that it stood across his forehead in a crescent like the old cracked hat worn by Nelson. He wore an ordinary dark blue jacket with nothing special about the buttons, but the combination of it with white linen trousers somehow had a sailorish look. He was tall and loose, and walked with a sort of swagger, which was not a sailor's role, and yet somehow suggested it, and he held in his hand a short saber which was like a navy cutlass, but about twice as big. Under the bridge of the hat, his eagle face looked eager, all the more because it was not only clean-shaven, but without eyebrows. It seemed almost as if all the hair had come off his face. From his thrusting, it threw a throng of elements. His eyes were prominent and piercing. His color was curiously attractive. While partly tropical, it reminded one vaguely of a blood orange. That is, that while it was broody and sanguine, there was a yellow in it that was in no way sickly, but seemed rather to glow like gold apples or the Hesperides. Father Brown thought he had never seen a figure so expressive pardon me, of all the romances about the countries of the sun. One second. Whoa. She is not here quite yet. She is still playing that one new game, which I'm blanking on the name of. Yeah, I was gonna say I really enjoy Father Brown. I think Chesterton's a very good writer. I'm looking forward to getting to his Everlasting Man, as well as I can't remember the other one that's really famous. His Father Brown stories, Everlasting Man, and is it a Case for Catholicism? No, I don't think so. What else has he written? Let me look real quickly. Basically, I like all of G.K. Chesterton's works that I've read so far. Orthodoxy's one. I would want to read The Man Who Was Thursday. It looks like he had an autobiography. He had a book on St. Thomas Aquinas, St. Francis of Assisi, Eugenics and Other Evils, which that would be an interesting one. The New Jerusalem. As I said, Father Brown, Man Alive. So he's written enough that it would be interesting. See, I'm interested in eugenics and other evils. Is it really all available? Oh, part 1, chapter 1. Okay. Maybe it is all available on Wikipedia. I'd still want to go ahead and own it, though. Interesting. Orthodoxy is another one of his big ones. That's correct, yep. So there's a lot of his books that I actually have been meaning to. I have The Everlasting Man. After I finish Father Brown, I think I'll move on to Orthodoxy, because on my non-work days, I try to read one Father Brown short story, which I hadn't gotten to today. So admittedly, while I'm waiting for Kate, this has been great. I try to read one chapter from Dante's Inferno, 10 pages from St. Faustina's Diary, and then 4 chapters of the Bible each day. So I have a lot of reading on my plate as is, which isn't a bad thing. It's actually quite a good thing, I would say. I'm actually very close to being done with Dante's Inferno, and I'm not sure what I'm going to replace that with. I think I'm going to try to find that copy of Dante's Inferno that Sean was talking about, and then just reread it, honestly. But I'll probably read something else in between. Probably a biography. Maybe a biography on St. Maximilian Kolbe. I picked up another biography on St. Maximilian Kolbe. What a shocker. I need to pick up some more biographies on the Saints, actually. I'll do that next month. I have plenty of books that I can read at the moment, admittedly. Oh, maybe I'll read the Cardinal Sarah book that I have. I've read his Power of Silence, really enjoyed that one. So I've actually been wanting to read his other books, and I need to pick up more of his books, but I do have one of his other books, so I might do that. Pardon me. When Fanshawe had presented his 2 friends to their host, he fell again into a tone of rallying the latter about his wreckage of the fence and his apparent rage of profanity. The Admiral pooh-poohed it at first as a piece of necessary but annoying garden work, but at length the ring of real energy came back into his laughter, and he cried with a mixture of impatience and good humor. Well, perhaps I do go at it a bit rapidly, and feel a kind of pleasure in smashing anything. So would you if your only pleasure was in cruising about to find some new cannibal islands. You had to stick on this muddy little rockery in a sort of rustic pond, when I remember how I have cut down 1.5 miles of green poisonous jungle with an old cutlass half as sharp as this, and then remember I must stop here and chop this matchwood because of some confounded old bargain scribbled in a family Bible. Why, He swung up the heavy steel again, and this time sundered the wall of wood from top to bottom at one stroke. I feel like that, he said, laughing, but furiously flinging the sword some yards down the path. And now let's go up to the house. You must have some dinner. The semicircle of lawn in front of the house was varied by 3 circular garden beds, one of red tulips, a second of yellow tulips, and the third of some white. Waxen-looking blossoms that the visitors did not know and presumed to be exotic. A heavy, hairy, and rather sullen-looking gardener was hanging up a heavy coil of garden hose. The corners of the expiring sunset, which seemed to cling about the corners of the house, gave glimpses here and there of the colors of remoter flower beds, and in a treeless space on one side of the house opening upon the river stood a tall brass tripod on which was tilted a big brass telescope. Just outside the steps of the porch stood a little painted green garden table, as if someone had just had tea there. The entrance was flaked with 2 of those half-featured lumps of stones with holes for eyes that are said to be the South Sea idols. On the brown oak beam across the doorway were some confused carvings that looked almost as barbaric. As they passed indoors, the little cleric hopped suddenly onto the table, and standing on it peered unaffectedly through his spectacles at the moldings in the oak. Admiral Pendragon looked very much astonished, though not particularly annoyed, while Fanshawe was so amused with what looked like a performing pygmy on his little stand that he could not control his laughter. Father Brown was not likely to notice either the laughter or the astonishment. He was gazing at 3 carved symbols, which, though very worn and obscure, seemed still to convey some sense to him. The first seemed to be the outline of some tower or other building, crowned with what looked like curly pointed ribbons. The second was clearer, an old Elizabethan galley with decorative waves beneath it, but interrupted in the middle by a curious jagged rock, which was either a fault in the wood or some conventional representation of the water coming in. The third represented the upper half of a human figure, ending in an escalloped line like the waves. The face was rubbed and featureless, and both arms were held very stiffly up in the air. Well, muttered Father Brown, blinking, here is the legend of the Spaniard plain enough. Here he is holding up his arms and cursing the sea, and here are the two curses, the wrecked ship and the burning of Pendragon Tower. Pendragon shook his head with a kind of venerable amusement. And how many other things might it not be, he said. Don't you know that that sort of half-man, like a half-lion or a half-stag, is quite common in heraldry? Might not that line through the ship be one of those parti per pale lines, indented, I think they call it? And though the third thing isn't so heraldic, it would be more heraldic to suppose it is a tower crowned with laurel than with fire, and it looks just as like it. But it seems rather odd, said Flambeau, that it should exactly confirm the old legend. Ah, replied the skeptical traveler. But you don't know how much of the old legend may have been made up from the old figures. Besides, it isn't the only old legend. Fanshawe here, who is fond of such things, will tell you there are other versions of the tale, and much more horrible ones. One story credits my unfortunate ancestor with having had the Spaniard cut in two. And that will fit the pretty picture also. Another obligingly credits our family with the possession of a tower full of snakes, and explains those little wriggly things in that way. And a third theory supposes the crooked line on the ship to be a conventionalized thunderbolt, but that alone, if seriously examined, would show that a very little way these unhappy coincidences really go. Why, how do you mean? Asked Fanshawe. It so happens, replied the host coolly, that there was no thunder and lightning at all in the 2 or 3 shipwrecks I know of in our family. Oh, said Father Brown, and jumped down from the little table. There was another silence, in which they heard the continuous murmur of the river. Then Fanshawe said, in a doubtful and perhaps disappointed tone, "You don't think there's anything in the tales of the tower in flames?" "There are the tales, of course," said the Admiral, shrugging his shoulders. He has two. "And some of them, I don't deny, on evidence as decent as one ever gets for such things. Someone saw a blaze hereabout, but don't you know, and as he walked home through a wood, someone keeping sheep on the inland thought he saw a flame hovering over Pendragon Tower. Well, a damp dab of mud like this confounded island seems the last place where one would think of fires." "What is that fire over there?" asked Father Brown with a gentle suddenness, pointing to the woods on the left river bank. They were all thrown a little off their balance, and the more fanciful Fanshawe had even more difficulty in recovering his, as they saw a long, thin stream of blue smoke setting silently into the end of the evening light. Then Pendragon broke into a scornful laugh again. "Gypsies," he said. "They've been camping about here for a week. Gentlemen, you want your dinner," and he turned as if to enter the house. With the antiquarian superstition in Fanshawe was still quivering, and he said hastily, "But, Admiral, what's that hissing noise quite near the island? It's very like fire." "It's more like what it is," said the Admiral, laughing as he led the way. "It's only some canoe going by." Almost as he spoke, the butler, a lean man in black, with very black hair and a very long yellow face, appeared in the doorway and told him that dinner was served. The dining room was as nautical as the captain of a ship, but its note was rather that of the modern than the Elizabethan captain. There were indeed 3 antiquated cutlasses in a trophy over the fireplace, and one brown 16th century map, with tritons and little ships dotted about a curly sea. But such things were less prominent on the white paneling than some cases of quaint colored South American birds, very scientifically stuffed, fantastic shells from the Pacific, and several instruments so rude and queer in shape that savages might have used them either to kill their enemies or to cook them. But the alien color culminated in the fact that besides the butler, the Admiral's only servants were 2 Negroes, somewhat quaintly clad in tight uniforms of yellow. The priest's instinctive trick of analyzing his own impressions told him that the color and the little neat coattails of these bipeds had suggested the word canary, and so by a mere pun connected them with southward travel. Towards the end of the dinner, they took their yellow clothes and black faces out of the room, leaving only the black clothes and yellow face of the butler. Man, "I'm rather sorry you take this so lightly," said Fanshawe to the host, "for the truth is, I have brought these friends of mine with the idea of their helping you, as they know a good deal of these things. Don't you really believe in the family story at all?" "I don't believe in anything," answered Pendragon very briskly, with a bright eye cocked at a red tropical bird. "I'm a man of science." "Bruh." Rather to Flambeau's surprise, his clerical friend, who seemed to have entirely awoken, took up the digression and talked natural history with his hosts, with a flow of words and much unexpected information, until the desserts and decanters were set down and the last of the servants vanished. Then he said, without lowering his tone, "Please don't think me impertinent, Admiral Pendragon. I don't ask for a curiosity, but really for my guidance and for your convenience. Have I made a bad shot if I guess you didn't want these old things talked of before your butler? The Admiral lifted the hairless arches over his eyes and exclaimed, Well, I don't know where you got it, but the truth is I can't stand the fellow, though I have no excuse for discharging a family servant. Fanshawe, with his fairy tales, would say my blood moved against men with that black, Spanish-looking hair. Flambeau struck the table with his heavy fist. By Jove, he cried, and so had that girl. I hope it'll all end tonight, continued the Admiral. When my nephew comes back safe from his ship. You look surprised. You won't understand, I suppose, unless I tell you the story. You see, my father had 2 sons. I remained a bachelor, but my elder brother married, and had a son who became a sailor like all the rest of us, will inherit the proper estate. Well, my father was a strange man. He somehow combined Fanshawe's superstition with a good deal of my skepticism. They were always fighting him, and after my first voyages, he developed a notion, which he thought somehow would settle finally whether the curse was truth or trash. If all the Pendragons sailed about anyhow, he thought there would be too much chance of natural catastrophes to prove anything. But if we went to sea, one at a time, in strict order of succession to the property, he thought it might show whether any connected fate followed the family as a family. It's a silly notion, I think, and I quarreled with my father pretty heartily, for I was an ambitious man, and was left to the last, coming by succession after my own nephew. And your father and brother, said the priest very gently, died at sea, I fear. Yes, groaned the Admiral, by one of those brutal accidents on which are built all the line mythologies of mankind. They were both shipwrecked. My father, coming up this coast out of the Atlantic, was washed up on these Cornish rocks. My brother's ship was sunk, no one knows where, on the voyage home from Tasmania. His body was never found. I tell you it was from perfectly natural mishaps. Lots of other people besides Pendragons were drowned, and both disasters are discussed in a normal way by navigators. But of course, it set this forest of superstition on fire, and men saw the flaming tower everywhere. That's why I say it will all be right when Walter returns. The girl he's engaged to was coming today, but I was so afraid of some chance delay frightening her that I wired her not to come till she heard from me. But he's practically sure to be here sometime tonight, and then it'll all end in smoke. Tobacco smoke. We'll crack that old lie when we crack a bottle of this wine. Very good wine, said Father Brown, gravely lifting his glass, but as you see, a very bad wine bibber. I most sincerely beg your pardon, for he had split a small spot of wine on the tablecloth. He drank and put down the glass with a composed face, but his hand had stared at the exact moment when he became conscious of a face looking in through the garden window just behind the Admiral, the face of a woman, swarthy with southern hair and eyes, and young but like a mask of tragedy. After a pause, the priest spoke again in his mild manner. Admiral, he said, will you do me a favor? Let me and my friends, if they like, stop in that tower of yours just for tonight. Do you know that in my business you're an exorcist almost before anything else? Pendragon sprang to his feet and paced swiftly to and fro across the window from which the face had instantly vanished. I tell you, there is nothing in it, he cried with ringing violence. There is one thing I know about this matter. You may call me an atheist. I am an atheist. Here he swung around and fixed Father Brown with a face of frightful concentration. This business is perfectly natural. There is no curse in it at all. Just because you believe in science doesn't mean you can't believe in God. Come on. I mean, obviously, I know that that's what Chesterton's getting at here. It's just, like... I guess it's fascinating to me that there was these tropes even back then. Chesterton's a very smart man, though. Let's go ahead and continue on. Father Brown smiled. In that case, he said, there can't be any objection to my sleeping in your delightful summer house. The idea is utterly ridiculous, replied the Admiral, beating a tattoo on the back of his chair. Please forgive me for everything, said Brown in his most sympathetic tone, including spilling the wine, but it seems to me you're not quite so easy about the flaming tower as you try to be. Admiral Pendragon sat down again as abruptly as he had risen, but he sat quite still. When he spoke again, it was in a lower voice. You do at your own peril, he said. But wouldn't you be an atheist to keep saying all this devilry? No. Be the opposite. Which would be a Catholic. Some 3 hours afterwards, Fanshawe, Flambeau, and the priest were still dawdling about the garden in the dark, and it began to dawn on the other two that Father Brown had no intention of going to bed either in the tower or in the house. I think the lawn wants weeding, said he dreamily. If I could find a spud or something, I'd do it myself. They followed him, laughing and half remonstrating, but he replied with the utmost solemnity, explaining to them, in a maddening little sermon, that one can always find some small occupation that is helpful to others. He did not find a spud, but he found an old broom made of twigs, with which he began energetically to brush the fallen leaves off the grass. Always some little things to be done, he said with an idiotic cheerfulness, as George Herbert says, who sweeps an admiral's garden in Cornwall, as for thy laws, makes that and the action fine. Now, he added, suddenly slinging the broom away, let's go and water the flowers. With the same mixed emotions, they watched him uncoil some considerable lengths of the large garden hose, saying with an air of wistful discrimination, the red tulips before the yellow, I think. Look a bit dry, don't you think? He turned the little tap on the instrument, and the water shot out straight and solid as a long rod of steel. Look out, Samson, cried Flambeau. Why, you've cut off the tulip's head. Father Brown stood ruefully contemplating the decapitated plant. Mine does seem to be a rather kill or cure sort of watering, he admitted, scratching his head. Suppose it's a pity. I didn't find the spud. You should have seen me with the spud. Talking of tools, you've got that sword stick, Flambeau, you always carry. That's right, and Sir Cecil could have that sword the Admiral threw away by the fence there. How grey everything looks. The mist rising from the river, said the staring Flambeau. Almost as he spoke, the figure of the hairy gardener appeared on a higher ridge of the trenched and terraced lawn, hailing them with a brandished rake and a horribly bellowing voice. Put down that hose, he shouted. Put down that hose and go to your... I'm fearfully clumsy, replied the reverend gentleman weakly. Do you know I upset some wine at dinner? He made a wavering half-turn of apology towards the gardener, with the hose still spouting in his hand. The gardener caught the cold crash of the water full in his face, like the crash of a cannonball, staggered, slipped, and went sprawling with his boots in the air. How very dreadful, said Father Brown, looking round in a sort of wonder. Why, I've hit a man. He stood with his head forward for a moment, as if looking or listening, and then set off at a trot towards the tower, still trailing the hose behind him. The tower was quite close, but its outline was curiously dim. Your river mist, he said, has a rum smell. By the Lord, it has, cried Fanshawe, who was very white. But you can't mean, I mean, said Father Brown, that one of the Admiral's scientific predictions is coming true tonight. This story is going to end in smoke. As he spoke, a most beautiful rose-red light seemed to burst into blossom like a gigantic rose, but accompanied with a crackling and rattling noise that was like the laughter of devils. My God, what is this? Cried Sir Cecil Fanshawe, the sign of the flaming tower. The sign of the flaming tower. Cried Father Flambeau. Cried Father Brown. Wish I could talk. And sent the driving water from his hose into the heart of the red patch. Lucky we hadn't gone to bed, ejaculated Fanshawe. I suppose it can't spread to the house. You may remember, said the priest quietly, that the wooden fence that might have carried it was cut away. Flambeau turned electrified eyes upon his friend, but Fanshawe only said rather absently, well, nobody can be killed anyhow. This is rather a curious kind of tower, observed Father Brown. When it takes to killing people, it always kills people who are somewhere else. Man, yeah. Hey, Camilla, how are you? I was looking for your stream. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my phone off then. Because I did have it on, so I could go ahead and be lurking. Good! I am, waiting for Kate to join still, so I was just taking a brief break to message her. But I am going to go ahead and continue finishing off this Father Brown story. Hopefully she'll be done by the time I'm done with the story, which we only have 3 more pages of, admittedly, so I'll probably grab a glass of water after this. I'm doing pretty well. My throat is a little bit parched. Yep, we are reading the Perishing of the Pendragon, so we're about halfway through. No, we're not even half. I'm gonna go with her about a third. We're about a third of the way through the complete works of Father Brown. A little bit more than a third, but not by much. Oh, but my throat is definitely going to need water. Dang. As I said, I'll go ahead and finish these 3 pages and get some more water. That's fair. I was going to say, if you don't want to know the spoilers, you might want to mute for like the next 5 or so, maybe 10 minutes. So I was going to say, we are pretty close to the, we are pretty close to the ending. We are on the last 3 pages. Okay. Let's go ahead and resume then. At the same instant, the monstrous figure of the gardener, with the streaming beard, stood again on the green ridge against the sky, waving others to come on, but now waving not a rake but a cutlass. Behind him came the two negroes, also with the old crooked cutlasses, one of the trophy, but in the blood-red glare, with their black faces and yellow figures, they looked like devils carrying instruments of torture. In the dim garden behind them, a distant voice was heard calling out brief directions. When the priest heard the voice, a terrible change came over his countenance, but he remained composed, and never took his eye off the patch of flame which had begun by spreading, but now seemed to shrink a little as it hissed under the torch of the long silver spear of water. He kept his finger along the nozzle of the pipe to ensure the aim, and attended to no other business, knowing only by the noise in that semi-conscious corner of the eye the exciting incidents that began to tumble themselves about the island garden. He gave two brief directions to his friends. One was, knock these fellows down somehow and tie them up. Wherever they are, there's rope down by those faggots. They want to take away my nice hose. The other was, as soon as you get a chance, call out to that canoeing girl. She's over on the bank with the gypsies. Ask her if they could get some buckets across and fill them from the river. Then he closed his mouth and continued to water the new red flower as ruthlessly as he had watered the red tulip. He never turned his head to look at the strange fight that followed between the foes and friends of the mysterious fire. He almost felt the island shake when Flambeau collided with the huge gardener. He merely imagined how it would whirl around them as they wrestled. He heard the crashing fall and his friend's gasp of triumph as he dashed on to the first Negro, and so the cries of both the blacks as Flambeau and Fanshawe bound them. Flambeau's enormous strength more than redressed the odds in the fight, especially as the fourth man still hovered near the house, only a shadow and a voice. He heard also the water broken by the paddles of a canoe, the girl's voice giving orders, the voices of gypsies answering and coming nearer, the plumping and sucking noise of empty buckets plunged into a full stream, and finally the sound of many feet around the fire. But all this was less to him than the fact that the red rent, which had lately once more increased, had once more slightly diminished. Then came a cry that very nearly made him turn his head. Flambeau and Fanshawe, now reinforced by some of the gypsies, had rushed after the mysterious man by the house. He heard from the other end of the garden the Frenchman's cry of horror and astonishment. It was echoed by a howl not to be called human, as the being broke from their hold and ran along the garden. 3 times at least it raced around the whole island in a way that was as horrible as the chase of a lunatic, both in the cries that pursued and the ropes carried by the pursuers, but was more horrible still because it somehow suggested one of the chasing games of children in a garden. Then, finding them closing in on every side, the figure sprang upon one of the higher river banks and disappeared with a splash into the water and driving river. You can do no more, I fear," said Brown in a voice cold with pain. "He has been washed down to the rocks by now, where he has sent to many others. He knew the use of a family legend." "Oh, don't talk in those parables," cried Flambeau impatiently. "Can you put in simply in words of one syllable?" "Yes," answered Brown with his eyes on the hose. "Both eyes bright. She's all right. One eye blinks. Down she sinks." The fire hissed and shrieked more and more, like a strangled thing, as it grew narrower and narrower under the flood from the pipe and buckets. But Father Brown still kept his eye on it, and he went on speaking. "I thought of asking this young lady, if it were morning yet, to look through that telescope at the river mouth and the river. She might have seen something to interest her, the sign of the ship of Mr. Walter Pendragon coming home, perhaps even the sign of the half-man, for, though he is certainly safe by now, he may very well have waded ashore. He has been within a shave of another shipwreck, and would never have escaped it. Yet the lady hadn't had the sense to suspect the old admiral's telegram and come down to watch him. Don't let's talk about the old admiral. Don't let's talk about anything. It's enough to say that whenever this tower, with its pitch and resin wood, really caught fire, the spark of the horizon always looked like the twin light to the coast lighthouse. And that," said Flambeau, "is how the father and brother died. The wicked uncle of the legends very nearly got his estate after all." "Oh, okay, I'm picking up on it now. That makes sense. Okay. Hey, Kate, I know you're here. I'm almost done.
Okay, sounds good.
I got like one more page, so. Whew, throat. I need some water here in a second too. So I will have to grab some water. Father Brown did not answer. Indeed, he did not speak again, save for civilities, till they were all safe round a cigar box in the cabin of the yacht. He saw that the frustrated fire was extinguished, and then refused to linger, though he actually heard young Pendragon, escorted by an enthusiastic crowd, come tramping up the river bank, and might, had he been removed by romantic curiosities, have received the combined thanks of the man from the ship and the girl from the canoe. But his fatigue had fallen him once more, and he only started once, when Flambeau abruptly told him that he had dropped cigar ash on his trousers. That's no cigar ash, he said rather wearily. That's from the fire. But you don't think so, because you're all smoking cigars. That's just the way I got my first faint suspicion about the chart. Do you mean Pendragon's chart of his Pacific Islands? Asked Fanshawe. You thought it was a chart of the Pacific Islands, answered Brown. Put a feather with a fossil and a bit of coral, and everyone will think it's a specimen. Put the same feather with a ribbon and an artificial flower, and everyone will think it's for a lady's hat. Put the same feather with an ink bottle, a book, and a stack of writing paper, and most men will swear they've seen a quill pen. So you saw that map among tropic birds and shells, and thought it was a map of Pacific Islands. It was the map of this river. But how do you know? Asked Fanshawe. I saw the rock you thought was like a dragon, and the one like Merlin, and... You seem to have noticed the law as we came in, cried Fanshawe. We thought you were rather abstracted. I was seasick, said Father Brown simply. I felt simply horrible, but feeling horrible has nothing to do with not seeing things, and he closed his eyes. Do you think most men would have seen that? Asked Flambeau. He received no answer. Father Brown was asleep. I love the Father Brown series. Alright, give me 1 second, Kate. I need to get a little bit of a refill for my water, because my throat is very parched.
Sounds good.
Oh, water's so nice. Give me 1 more second, Kate.
Okay.
How are you?
Better
Better?
from the last time.
Good. Yeah, I was gonna say that was about 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, let me go ahead and switch characters then, and I'll be good to go as well. I'm glad you're better. I know you don't want to talk about on stream, but I'm glad you're better. Oh,
Yeah, it's just like, like
stuff.
I think what I was going. Yeah, it's not. What do you think?
It's not what I think. I don't know what I think, honestly.
Like, I don't know how. I don't know how to describe it. It's just. I think it's partly seasonal depression.
I can see that, yeah.
Because last week snow was so bad.
That's fair.
Like, it was really. Oh, I see you now, but I don't.
Yeah, you'll see me again in a second. I just want to go ahead and play on my main tonight. I've gotten
Yes.
I've gotten tired of my monk. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Play your.
Like
warrior.
when I get to the was I doing an assassin or
Hi,
ritualist?
Camilla.
Oh, wait, we're in the guild hall, aren't we? We will still have to go ahead and do your mission, which that's not a big problem. Before we do that mission, though, we'll go ahead and get you your prestige armor.
Sounds good, cheat. But yeah, so I was saying, like, I think it's really seasonal depression, and then on top of that, there was no school.
Right.
So I think my brain was just rest for this whole week.
I can understand that.
And then I found a new game from Valheim.
Yeah, I have no interest in that. I know a lot of people have had an interest, but I just don't have an interest. Do you want to accept the invite, by the way?
It's Minecraft, but for like bigger people.
Yeah, Vikings and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it appeals to me.
Yeah, excuse me. Oh my goodness, I'm not really a Minecraft person, but that
Fair.
I enjoy it.
Sure, that's fair. Yeah, I'll be fine. And...
I enjoy it because you can build castles and stuff.
Do you want to build a castle? No, I don't.
Do you wanna be the snowman?
No, I don't.
It's more. It's kind of like Skyrim vibes. If you know what I'm saying.
Oh, fair. Okay, I think I got you then.
Yeah, but in a build your own civilization / area / building / yeah. It's a survival game, I think. That's what they consider it.
Makes sense. You'll have to go ahead and tell me which quest you have. Because I think we can do one of the main quests on the way. Okay, so Ice Caves is...
So primary... Which one? Primary quests?
We'll start with primary... Yeah, we'll start with primary quests only. Because I know that the other quest that we need to do is like all the way not near here. So...
Oh, okay, so it says, against the destroyers, seek assistance from Asura, the knowledgeable Asura.
Nope.
At the...
Keep going. Nothing Eye of the North.
Ascalon quests?
No, it probably is under primary quest, but maybe it's... Keep telling me your primary quest. God bless you.
Thank you. A primary Ebon?
Nope.
Vanguard quest?
Next one. Keep going.
Norn? Primary Norn quest?
Nope. Keep going.
That's it. Those are all my primary.
What do you got for Southern Shiver Peaks?
Southern Shiver Peaks, seeking the seer, and the hero's challenge.
Hero's challenge we'll do later. Seeking the seer is the right one.
Okay, I'll lead the way then.
Yep. Like I should know where it is, but it's just easier this way. We can make sure we don't, you know, die.
Yeah.
Let me check one quick thing. Actually, hold on. I want to see 1 second, Kate. Hold on.
Sure.
I want to see what the Zaishin quests are for the day.
I want your armor.
I mean, that's what we're working on tonight.
Oh, nice!
Sunjiang,
Nice.
So basically, we have to do one mission because we can go ahead and cut out a lot of the other thing that we'd have to run through. Because basically, we do one mission. Yeah, if we do one mission, which this is going to lead us to the Ice Caves of Sorrow. We do the Ice Caves of Sorrow. The Ice Caves of Sorrow gets us to the Iron Mines of Moladoon. We take a route directly south from the Iron Mines of Moladoon, and we can get your armor tonight. So, or next time at the very... How much money do you have? Because you'll probably need at least 100k. We can worry about that after the next mission, though. So let's just go ahead.
I got 19k.
Ooh, man. I'll see what I can do.
What can you do?
Probably give you some money, possibly. We'll see.
Going here.
Feels...
Oh, what?
What?
What are these?
What or what?
The Bone Fiend.
Oh,
that's the first time I've seen them.
That's a necromancer.
It looks cool though.
They do, like,
they look cooler than the one in Guild Wars 2.
Wow, something looks cooler than in Guild Wars 2. Well, what a surprise. I'm not saying that against you, by the way. It's just Guild Wars 2 is just... Alright, I'm following you. Where to? Do we talk to Korg Snowfoot?
No. Yeah.
And then he probably tells us to go this way?
Yeah.
Okay.
West.
Like, I know most... do you mean east?
I mean east.
Okay.
I don't know my directions!
Sorry. I mostly know where we're supposed to be going. I just want to double check, because it's like,
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, technically it's been...
Either way, I'm here for the story.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I might still need your help here and there, but... I think we're good for reading.
Of course.
I think we're good for reading for right now. By the way, since we just read 7 pages about
Nice.
Saint Maximin Colby, and which isn't
I'm
a bad
sorry,
thing. It's okay. It's okay. I understand.
I can extend.
Are you sure?
I can extend tonight.
All right. I mean, if you can.
If you can too. I mean, it's not just me.
I mean, I probably can. I just have my in-laws coming tomorrow, but yeah.
Yeah, I have work tomorrow, but that's
do you
fine.
really?
I can manage. Yeah.
Working on a Saturday. I mean, I can't really.
I mean,
I work on Sunday. I hate working Sundays. So that's the one thing
I have.
I think yours.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think yours is different though, because it's for a youth group. So I think it makes a lot more sense that you work on Sundays, honestly. So.
Well, I don't have work on Mondays though.
Oh, that's fair.
Technically.
Yeah, but I mean. I think
you know what? Like. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was basically
just because I was. Kevin, just say it.
I was basically just gonna say it works. It's not a yeah. I get for yours it makes sense because like as I said, you're a youth group leader. You know, you help the children. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. You help the children's. Who will teach these kids?
No, I would just say, remember, like, I'm taking Intro to Old Testament, right?
Okay, yeah.
I know, yeah. And our professor is a priest, and he was saying how rest is very important.
Right.
And I'm like, I think I need to rest. Like,
I can understand that. Okay, do you need to talk to this guy?
Like, yes. I
did. Well, you need to read for me since I can't read now because I'm on my main character.
Well, I missed it. I skipped it.
Yeah, that's fair. I figured you're not used to that.
No.
Well, like we should still get the story for the most part. I think we should get a cutscene coming into here since you're here. I'll have you walk in first.
Yee!
Maybe we won't get a cutscene. I don't know.
Actually, no.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and invite me. I want to go ahead and have you be the person in the cutscenes.
Nice. How do I add you? Add a hero? No.
No, just click me and then press the plus button.
Oh yeah. What am I thinking?
Yeah, that's okay. Give me 1 second. No. Give me 1 second. I'm working on it. Hold on. Pardon me. No, I don't want Vec. Sorry, Vec, but you're not as useful.
Is this Oh no.
Hey, look, real people.
Oh, these are new people. What the heck?
These are real people, yeah. Go turn your quest.
Okay. Noted.
I'm gonna go turn mine.
There are many threats in this world, and it is dangerous to face them alone, friend. If you seek allies, perhaps you will find them at Embark Beach. This is not it, right?
I do believe you are at the wrong one.
Welcome, hero. Sent by the king himself, no less. Here is compensation for your journey. We are too few to march against the unseen masters of the White Mantle. The dwarves insist on finding some ancient spellcaster they claim is a seer. I appreciate their help, but fear is a fool's errand. Ivania would help us more than some old man and his duty spells. Ice caves of sorrow indeed. There you go.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead and press intermission.
Intermission.
So basically the dwarfs are helping us out at the moment, and we're going ahead and not listening to the dwarfs with the seer, but we're going to go ahead and rescue Ivania because as we found out in the desert, they've been kidnapped by the White Blade. Also be careful for this.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
Just because...
No, I'm just finishing.
Okay, I just gotta just be careful for this part because we're gonna go fight some Mursat, and Mursat, you don't have any infused armor at the moment, Kate, so you'll take a lot of damage.
I don't. Yes, sir.
We'll go for this guy first. We'll see how this goes. So we got some. Run. The ice imps are also
Why do we
annoying.
need to run?
Well, the Mursat are literally right there. Like, my hero should be fine, but, you might have a little bit more problem.
Oh, these are the Mursat. That is so cool.
Right? They actually look cool. Which I appreciate.
Oh, why did I lose my sound?
That is a good question. I do not have an answer, but that is a good question.
Pine Soul. Oh, Pine Soul.
Go for the ice imps first.
Okay.
I didn't see them.
Oh, I was going for the Pine Soul on this.
Yeah, the ice imps are really the biggest problem in this mission, aside from the Mursat, but ice imps, as long as you take them out, aren't really too bad of a deal.
Okay.
Okay, so we're getting closer.
We're getting closer.
Yeah, girl.
Where are we going? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, just taking care of that guy. Oh, I should have you throw in a signet. I should have you throw in a signet. Actually, I won't have you throw in a signet of capture yet because we're gonna get you 100 blades. 100 blades is a really good elite skill, and you can't get it
It's
until.
my favorite skill.
How do you know that? You haven't what?
It's my favorite skill in Guild Wars 2. 100
Oh, fair.
blades.
100 blades is a lot better here. Like 100 blades isn't bad in Guild Wars 2 either, though.
Where are you?
Just be you should be fine. This team is mostly good. Like
Nice.
this is basically the team that I had before, but with more kited out. They're more kited out. As you can see, we're killing things a lot faster than we were previously.
The last time, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
Like these guys are much more kited out. So it's like, we've done it the legit way for long enough, and I just like playing my warrior more than my monk. Monk requires too much.
Yeah.
Monk requires too much thinking. I just want to go unga bunga.
Right?
Right?
That's what I like about warrior.
I just want to go unga bunga. That's all I want. Ooh, I do want this guy. Let's go get this morale boost. Unga bunga.
Jonar Stone Bender.
There's the bonus, by the way. But we have to go a long way to get to it.
Okay. Pine Soul. You will lose your soul. Oh, that was fast.
Pine Soul with Aquinas.
I don't know.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good.
Oh my gosh, Kevin! You just do your thing. I'll just stand here.
I thought that was pretty. Oh, I mean, we'll get you this build. This is a pretty good warrior build.
No, it's okay. I'm fine.
No, I mean it'll take a little bit of time. It'll take a little bit of time, but we will get you this similar warrior build.
What's happening? Why is it shaking?
There's siege weaponry.
Ah.
Okay, now we don't have to kill this guy. Okay. We'll go ahead and take care of that siege weaponry though. So fun fact, I am an idiot, so I died to this mission like 3 times recently. To this specific section right here, because I forgot how to advance the mission. And if I'd looked it up, I would have been fine. Like, not recently, within the last couple months.
That's fine, just as long as we don't die here.
We should not. Trust me, Kate, I don't want to die, because I am working on getting my survivor title on this character, so
I see.
I am very close to it. I'd be very sad. Like, once Halloween comes around, we can grind for your survivor title as well, so.
We have lots of games to play, though.
We do. Like, I think we'll be getting back to factions around the time of Halloween, so we'll have to do a little bit of both. Because it's like we're doing Cuphead. We'll probably be getting back to Nightfall, actually, by the time of Halloween, because I really don't think Cuphead will take us very long.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Like, I think that'll take us 3 streams.
Yep, at least. Yeah?
Yeah, but it's like, maybe more. We'll see.
I have my controller ready.
I do, too. We'll see how it goes, because I'm going to get myself confused, because I'm going to be using a Wii U controller, honestly, so when it tells me to use specific buttons, I'm going to get very confused very quickly.
Well, I'm using PS4, so...
Fair. I think Steam recognizes PS4 controllers, though.
Yeah, but they use Xbox's controls.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, like for the prompts, yeah.
Interesting. I thought that they didn't for PS4 controllers.
Because I played Outriders.
Sure.
Last night. And the controls, I'm like, what's A? What's Y? What's X?
I can understand that.
X is not the X.
I can understand that, yeah. Imagine it being worse and A and B and X and Y being backwards.
Oh my gosh. I don't get why Xbox or Microsoft decided to do that.
Do it backwards? Do it backwards from Nintendo? Probably so they didn't get sued. It was enough.
Yeah, but besides that, like,
it's probably just so they didn't get sued.
It's just so confusing.
As I said, it probably is just so they didn't get sued. Which, I mean, I can't really blame them for.
Well, oh, that's true. Because I'm so used to PS controllers, right?
Sure.
Because that's the first. Well, besides what's this? I don't know. Like I find shifting from Nintendo consoles to
Sony.
PS is
Sony.
Like, PlayStation is fine. Like it's
Fair.
not as difficult as A, Y, X, and B.
Interesting.
Yeah. And LB, like what's LB?
Left bumper, right bumper. So it'd be L1, R1.
I know, but I'm not used to that.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just, yeah. Speaking of which, you should you should get Ghosts and Goblins for the Switch. It's a very hard game though, just as a heads up.
Ghosts and Goblins?
Yeah, it just released yesterday. 2 days ago for you.
Is it good?
It's pretty good. It's very hard though. Like, it is very hard. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's harder than Dark Souls, I would say.
I want to buy Ghost of Tsushima first.
Fair. Fair. I've heard that's a pretty easy Dark Souls game, but I'm not opposed to that. That is a game that I would like to play. I've heard that is a game I would like to play, honestly.
It's based off of because it's based off of my favorite director.
Oh, is it?
Akira Kurosawa.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't pay much attention to who directs what games I like. I just play games I like.
No, but like Akira Kurosawa is a famous Japanese filmmaker.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
And yeah, because I took film, right, for school.
Right.
Before my theological class right now.
Sure.
And him and Miyazaki, obviously.
Ah, fair.
I don't know. I find Japanese films much better than Western ones.
It depends on the Western film.
Because they have more depth.
But I can't say I disagree.
I find.
Yeah. It really depends on which movie you're watching, but yeah, I guess overall you're right.
And there's have a new favorite one too. I forgot his name though.
So if you want to grab one of the powder kegs, I think we need a few.
Okay. Who is the director of? Do you know Tokyo Godfathers?
Nope.
Satoshi Kon, Paprika.
Nope.
Oh. There's another person that I also like, the one who directed Ghost in the Shell too.
Interesting. Like the movie or
The movie.
Oh, gross. Like the live action movie, to clarify?
Oh no, not
Okay.
the live action.
Okay.
The 1995 one.
I mean, I had to make sure because it's like gross. If you meant the live action one, Kate,
no,
it's over. It's
I
over.
hated the live. Yeah.
I think most people did.
I hated the live. It's just, it doesn't reflect the 1995 one.
Yeah. I still need to watch more Ghost in the Shell. I've just been hesitant because I know that the original creator draws a lot of porn.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
The manga was porn-ish.
Yeah.
Well, no, yes, soft
I mean,
porn, I would say.
soft, yeah.
Hentai.
I thought it was soft core from what I understood. It wasn't full outright porn at the very least, which was...
Oh no. It's soft. A lot of nudity.
Yeah. I think I'll skip the manga then.
Yeah, not the manga, bro. Like bro.
Bro.
Like the
Oh, the movie. You mean the movie? Dang. Okay. So I haven't watched it yet.
The movie's good.
Okay.
That one and the 2003, I believe.
Well, I know the standalone complex is typically regarded as pretty good.
Yeah, standalone complex is actually good. It's not pornish.
Fair.
So the anime, that one is actually a good one. Standalone. I like standalone complex. Where are you? There you go.
I am allowing Kakaros's comment. Kakaros apparently disagrees with you, by the way.
With what?
I'm blanking. He basically said the series... I can't read. I'm going with the fact that it's almost midnight. So he said the series standalone complex is fan service-tastic in a lot of the wrong ways, but also very heady. Not outright pornographic, if he recalls correctly. So it's like... I get... From what he said, you two agreed. Also,
Yeah.
you didn't bring the powder keg, Kate. Why didn't you bring me the powder keg?
Where's the powder keg though?
It was you literally passed by it.
Okay, let me go back.
Well, I'm already grabbing it. Oh, we might need a second one though.
Okay.
Someone can grab it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, and it's like she really does not wear a lot of pants in season 1, does she? I have seen a little bit of season 1. From what I understand though, the movie has a lot more of it, and it's like, I don't like that.
I don't know where to get the power keg.
You just click it.
Is it from the?
It's from the Dwarven Powder Keg Station, silly Billy. Right here.
Oh,
Right here.
oh,
You silly Billy.
my. It's so far. Sorry, my bad.
It's okay. Oh, are you still not? Where are you? Where'd you go? Oh, Kate, where'd you go?
So far.
Yeah, I noticed that. Hold on. It's fine. We'll see if we only need one. Give me 1 second. I didn't even notice. How'd you get this far away from us?
I thought it was going. I was supposed to go back.
You were. This way.
Oh. See, Kevin, I don't think this. When I play with you, like I just follow
Fair.
and just watch his story.
I mean,
Kill some stuff.
I can't blame you for that. We don't need to go that way. I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't seen Scarlett Johansson's Ghost in the Shell. I've just heard I don't want to hear.
No, just don't.
I've
Just don't.
I've just heard you don't want to see Scarlett Johansson's Ghost in the Shell. That's all I've heard. It's like don't see it.
I just don't.
I've been watching Pat Labor recently. I need to watch more of it. I've been enjoying that. And Ultra Q, which is the lead in the series into Ultraman, which I've also been enjoying. It's Ultra Q I've really been enjoying because in a sense it's kind of like I'm thinking of the word. Give me a second. Twilight Zone.
It's such a disappointment. Like Ghost in the Shell, Scarlett Johansson. Like it didn't dive into what makes Kusanagi really good.
Fair. And Scarlett Johansson. Oh, I knew we needed another one. I should have had you grab another one. Ah! That's okay. Not your fault. I told you we didn't need another one. I was wrong. Hey, Phil! How are you doing? Phil. I need to finish your Attack on Waylord. I got like 4 minutes in because I was in between streams, and then I had to stop, so I need to finish it. I still need to watch season 4, actually.
Also, standalone complex. It's more detective work than the what's this?
I did pick up Cowboy Bebop a second time because they had the Blu-ray for like $15.
Ooh.
And it's like the Blu. Yeah. I'll be honest. As much as I like DVDs, Blu-rays do look 100% better. I'll be honest. Because I also picked up the DVD or the Blu-ray of Batman the Animated Series, and oh my goodness, the animation looks so crisp. It's like, yeah, give me some of that.
And I missed that. I missed that TV show.
I mean, you can still watch it. I would not want them to make it today.
Yep.
I do not like a lot of DC or Marvel's stuff today. WandaVision, no, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of WandaVision.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not. I've watched every episode except for the one that came out today. I'll probably watch that tomorrow with my wife.
Do I drop this?
You can bring it with you, just in case we need a third one.
Okay, sounds good.
I've somewhat jokingly, but I've been very dead serious in that if they did make a spin-off series called Long Division, though, and they just had the Vision teaching Long Division, I'd be down for that. I'd find it hilarious. That's the type of stuff I want, not the stuff that they're doing. Just because I don't trust Disney. I really don't trust Disney. Unless they're teaching you, like, math, I don't trust them. I think they're going to try to shove in stuff that they don't need to shove. Did I ask you how you were doing?
I haven't watched it.
Sir, they haven't yet, to be fair, but I just don't trust Disney. Did I ask you how you're doing, Phil? I can't remember if I asked you how you're doing. I hope I did. How you doing, Phil? Man, really? Dang. I just need to find some time to watch it. Maybe after Lent. I think after Lent will be better. I'm watching Pat Labor at the moment. I'm enjoying it. I keep saying I'm watching Pat Labor, which I am, but I probably don't need to repeat it as many times. You know what we haven't done yet, though? Nah, we don't need to keep that joke going. I managed to get myself captured again. I was looking for a secret passage, a way to sneak up on those demons, but it didn't work. Hamdor Grandaxe should be leading a party to rescue me. Let him know where I am, and he'll come take care of the rest. Patrol labor is great. I do agree with you, Punch. How you doing, Punch? I just need to find some more time to watch it with my wife now, because I'm watching that with her. Good. I'm glad you are good. I mean, Paw Patrol labor. Oh, Phil, I hate it, because I could actually see that being a spin-off.
Get it.
Get out. Hold on. Give me a second.
Oh no. It's gotta be a soundboard.
It is gonna be a soundboard. I'm just trying to... Oh, this one will be perfect.
The burning you feel? It is shame.
Oh my goodness. Die.
You know, though, it might actually make Paw Patrol tolerable.
Oh, you don't like Paw Patrol? Paw Patrol is amazing!
That's the wrong one. I'm so sorry.
Moonstone cannon.
Yeah, it works.
Fire.
I'll take it. I'm okay with this, actually. I'm actually okay with the sound effect we got. I'm okay with this. Ooh, now if we had attack on Paw Patrol, though, that might be okay. Yeah. I like that idea. Would terrify my son, though.
Oh, I bet.
I do agree. I do not like Paw Patrol, Kymela.
Why? What's wrong with Paw Patrol?
It's not good. That's what's that's what's wrong with it. It's not good.
What do you mean?
It's boring. It's bland. It's the same thing every time. They don't even happen to make.
Of course.
They don't have to
It's a
make.
kid show.
No, just because it's a kid show doesn't mean they have to dumb it down to the lowest IQ.
Okay, well, what do you mean? Like, what kid show that doesn't
Batman.
have, like,
Batman Beyond.
repeat? That's not a kid show, though.
Batman is a kid's show. Batman Beyond may not be so. Batman is a kid's show. I'd say.
Not.
All right, Veggie Tales, which I may not always agree with, but I'd say Veggie Tales. I'd say Veggie Tales is better. There is lots of plot holes too. I mean, to be fair, would you say Avatar is a kid show? The original Avatar.
No.
Really? I would say the original Avatar was a
No.
kid show.
No.
I would say that the original Avatar was a kid show. I would. All right, people. Who would say the original Avatar was a kid show? Raise your hands. I'm curious.
Because you have
See?
you have
Punch.
to understand the.
Punch says so. I'm curious.
It's not. We
Wait.
don't consider in broadcasting. We don't consider Avatar a kid show. There is a.
It's Y7. Yes, you do. Shh.
It's not a kid show.
We are caught. Take Evenia to the east. The Deldrimor dwarves use the frozen lakes and rivers there for transport. If you're lucky, you'll find one of their ice ships.
Right, that's what I was saying, Kate Gross. Sorry.
Can. Take my bow. I won't be needing it where I'm going.
All right, you know what? I actually do have a good example, Kate. No,
End of us all!
that's nice, Sidra. I do actually have a good example. Punch is probably going to disagree with this one,
Don't let Sadra's sacrifice be wasted.
but I'm going to say My Little Pony. My Little Pony is a really good kids show that doesn't happen to dumb it down too much until the later seasons. Like, the later seasons are actually really bad. Like, season 5... Like, season 5 was okay. Season 6 and afterwards, where they started trying to shove social justice into the later My Little Pony episodes. Get that out of here. That's not needed. What are you doing, Hasbro? But to be fair, Hasbro has also apparently gotten rid of their Mr. Potato headline, so they can be inclusive, and now they're selling sets of Mr. Potato Head with two fathers or two mothers, and it's like, that's... You have to have one father and one mother to be a father or a mother. It doesn't work the way that you're trying to say it. Yeah, like, the original Avatar is really good. There is no siege on Ba Sing Se. Ugh. Kate, pull back, pull back, pull back. We might be able to take all this Mersat, but I don't want to risk it. So let's just pull back. We're gonna wait a second. Ba Sing Se is season 2. Secret tunnel! Secret tunnel! And I agree. I would agree with what Punch is saying. The reason most kid shows have a Sigma is because they're without substance. They don't have to not have substance, though. They can have substance. Kate, are you muted, by the way? Or are you just listening?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay. Like, as I said, My Little Pony, the first 5 seasons of it are fantastic. And I say this as somebody that did used to consider themselves a brony, admittedly. I got way too into it. I'm not going to deny that. I guess it's interesting because it's like, there's also the adverse effect to that, and that there's an adverse effect to everything, that if you get way too into something, it becomes a problem. which I think we can all agree with. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Punch is right. The original Animaniacs and Looney Tunes were kid shows too, Carmela.
Yeah, but that was during our culture. It's a different culture right now. Do you get what I mean? Like,
shake it up.
nobody.
Shake this culture up. It needs to be torn down.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm agreeing with the culture right now, right?
Fair. I can. You got the bonus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm not saying that, but you cannot. I don't think you can honestly say Avatar was, quote unquote. It might be 4-7.
Yeah.
4-7 and.
No, see, Kate. I would say that Avatar was a kid show. I would not say Korra is. I would say that Korra is not. Which I know might be nitpicking, but you know.
I mean, I know my niece, my nephew watches Avatar.
Oh, I love I love singing Secret Tunnel. What were you saying, Kate? I apologize for interrupting you.
It's okay.
Well, go ahead.
My nieces and nephews did watch Avatar, but they rather watch Paw Patrol than Avatar. So.
I mean, yeah, my son would. Sure. My son would rather. Actually, it really depends on the day of the week. Sometimes he'd want us to watch Paw Patrol. Sometimes he wants to watch Cyber Chase. Cyber Chase, I actually would say, is a good children's show. Arthur, I would say, before what they did to poor Mr. Ratburn. Mr. Ratburn, I'm so sorry what they did to you. I would actually say Arthur was a good show up until recently, and then it's just.
I think just from what I like, Paw Patrol, I can never enjoy, right?
Sure.
I like Paw Patrol, but I can never enjoy this as much as I would enjoy Avatar.
No, Cyber Chase, like Saber Chase is still going, Kymela. They still get Gilbert Gottfried to voice Digit. Oh, you disagree that Arthur is trash? Oh, I don't know about that. So basically, they still get Gilbert Gottfried to voice Digit. And, Kate, you might be able to help me with this one. I always forget his name. Who is Doc Brown in Back to the Future?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, but basically, you
I don't know.
I'm blanking on his name, too. Basically, the person that plays Doc Brown in Back to the Future, you know, he's been in a bunch of other movies. They also got him for Cyber Chase, and he's still the Haka! It's great. I love it. They did not happen to half-bake Cyber Chase. Like, maybe not every episode of Cyber Chase is great these days. I'll be honest.
See, I would think that a kid's show would last very long. Like, Pokemon is a kid's show.
Sure. But I wouldn't say that's a substantially good kid show. Oh gosh, run.
Of course it's not.
Run, Kate, run. That doesn't mean a kid show has to be bad, though. I would agree with Kymela, by the way. Jackie Chan Adventures. It doesn't teach everything that it needs to, because it does teach, you know, about Chinese, like, it's not bad to teach about Chinese culture. It's kind of weird. I can't really say it teaches about Chinese religion. I'm not sure how I want to put it. So I'm trying to think of how I want to say it. But Jackie Chan Adventures is good, though. Jackie! Magic must defeat magic. Yeah, magic was probably the best way to put it, Camilla. But yeah, let's I'm trying to think of other kids shows that are honestly pretty good. You know, another good show that, I would say is aimed for kids, but actually does it really well. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Mr. Roger doesn't really...
I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Because we don't have it. When I was a kid,
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was on when we were kids. Mr. Roger died like 10 years ago, Kate.
No, I didn't watch it.
Mr. Rogers ran from like 1970 to 2005, I think. Let me check this. Hold on a second.
I never watched it.
Then that's fair. I'm just saying. It was definitely our time, though. But Mr. Rogers is great. Yeah. Like, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is great. Like, he doesn't really back down and stuff. He tries to explain it in a way that a kid can understand. He's very nice. He's very caring. He's very loving. I think even when They tried to do that smear piece on... I don't know if it was actually a smear piece. I'll be fair. I'm sorry. That's not fair.
What about Sesame Street?
Sesame Street...
That's downtown kid show?
Do I think it's a bad kid show these days? Yes. Do I think it used to be a great kid show? Yes.
Before.
Oh, yeah. It used to be a great kid show. It used to be a great kid show.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. And now it's bad because they've dumbed it down. Instead of trying to raise kids up, they dumbed it down. And that's my problem with most modern kid shows these days. They don't actually try. Very early Sesame Street, I would say like 20 years of Sesame Street was good, Phil. Because Sesame Street's been on for 50 years now, I think. I'm gonna check.
Okay, so what do you think of what is the dumbing down kind of thing for you?
They don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. They don't want to make any kid feel dumb. So they try to make it fit for everybody instead of trying to raise kids up.
Okay, that I would see that.
Yeah.
I would see
they're trying to lower it down to the common denominator instead of trying to help the common denominator rise up.
That's your education right now, basically.
Okay, come back. Yeah, basically, yeah, they're basically trying to lower it for everybody instead of trying to help everybody. I would agree. But yeah, it looks like Sesame Street's... Let me just... One second. One more time. If I'm reading correctly, sometimes I can't read. I'll be honest here. Is it really 50 years? Did I get it right? Let's see.
What?
Sesame Street. I'm just seeing on Sesame Street. Yeah, Sesame Street has been on the air for 52 years. So I'd say about 25 of those years were really good. Which isn't a bad amount of time. And then, you know, that and a general absence of moral lessons. Yes, I'd agree with that too, Punch. Like, they take out the good morals and lessons that people need today, just trying to make you feel good. They don't want people to grow. They want them to be okay. They want them to accept themselves in a way that they can accept themselves instead of growing up as a person. That's kind of why we have this major problem today with everybody that's like, sin is okay. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that what I'm doing is wrong, but I can become better and actually draw myself closer to Christ and fix myself through the power of Christ. People don't want to admit that. Sometimes I don't want to admit that. It's hard sometimes. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Do I sometimes want to pick my butt out of bed and do the right thing? Do I want to actually always give my son, you know, proper food? And I do need to be better about that, I'll be honest. My son proper food and let him watch proper show? Yeah, I do want him to watch proper things. Do I sometimes want to just hand him a can of whipped cream and let him watch whatever he wants? Yeah, but I don't do it because I know it's wrong. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent, and it's not your fault, Kate. I just want you to know it's not your fault.
It's okay.
Hold on, we gotta go on a boat.
Yeah, I think I would agree that there is some kind of dumbing down, but to blanketly generalize every single
Kid show.
modern, I think there is.
I'm just saying, it's a majority. Like, I would agree with you. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
Hold on.
If the old gods still exist, then hear me now.
They don't. There's only one God.
Saedra should not have died. It wasn't her time. But she gave her life so that the rest of us could live on. Now I put you on warning, you gods who abandoned Tyria so long ago. When my time comes, and I arrive in the mists, I best not find that she's been mistreated. Or as Balthazar as my witness, I will make all of you pay!
I'm confused. Did you just say you weren't sure if they existed, and then said that you knew that their afterlife that they made existed, and then you swore on Balthazar? I don't think you thought this out very well. I'm gonna be honest here.
That's why.
Like, I get that you're upset that your friend died, and I do actually like Avenia and Saedra. I actually do really like the story for Guild Wars, don't get me wrong. But, beat up them heathen gods. I mean, she also pledged service to the heathen gods, though, she said, by saying Balthazar is our witness, and then we beat up Balthazar in Guild Wars, too. Let's see, one thing I remember raising a moral lesson that got me and my siblings to ask my parents and get into a discussion was something in Digimon about the morality. I mean, Yeah, like I don't think that they typically do ask about morals these days, unfortunately. As much as, you know, Sonic show wasn't good, Sonic Says didn't happen to be always bad. I'll be honest. Even if it was for like 30 seconds. Yeah, I think Kate knows that. I think Kate's just talking from a wide perspective because I know that you used to work in media like this, right, Kate? You used to work in a TV station?
I don't feel attacked. Don't get me wrong. I just don't get that you would consider Avatar a kid show because it's in its content. It's not a kid
Ooh.
show. Do you get what I mean?
See, I'd say it is.
Like,
I'd say it greatly is.
like for example, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because kids these days, they are not. You have to look at this perspective. You cannot give the kids immediately everything about the truth, just like
No.
us, right?
I'd agree with that, and I don't think they do that.
Yeah, like I think, like for Avatar, I think it's all, yeah, it is a kid show, but it's also intended for all ages. Like the director
It is intended for all ages. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like it's not an I don't get me wrong. I don't feel attacked, but you have to you have to understand that not all kids shows are. I also just don't want people to just think that all kid shows are bad.
I mean,
Do you
fair,
get what I'm
fair.
saying? Like,
No, I can understand that. I get where you're coming from. Like, I do admit that the majority of kids shows these days are hot trash, but
yeah, that I would agree because our education is bad.
it is.
Like, they're leveling their.
To add to your argument, though, as I said, I actually really like My Little Pony. I actually really think it's a good kids show. That's a modern show, as I said. Like, until the last 5 seasons, or I can't remember. Like, basically, once they made so there used to be 6 ponies that remained 6, and then they added a 7th. Once they added that 7th pony, I can't remember her name because I really dislike her. That's when the show started going downhill. Like, just because the character, like, they basically tried shoehorning a new character in so as to spice things up, and it's like, okay, that's fine. And then they made it worse by trying to make shoehorn in LGBT characters, and then making it so that they hinted that Rainbow Dash and Applejack got together. And it's like, no, I didn't need this. You didn't need this in a kids show. Like, I didn't need it.
No, Punch, I disagree with you. Punch, I really disagree with you. It's not also a Christian thing to do, to be quite honest.
What is it? What? The last comment,
He
or
was saying that the empirical data.
I don't know. I kind of would agree with him because, like, a lot of the data would point towards that. It doesn't mean. I don't think he's saying that we should.
Yeah, but,
I don't think he's saying we should condemn them, though. He's just saying that the evidence is there, that this is what's happening, but we should push back against it and help them to realize the problems that they're making.
We cannot just simply generalize things because our perspective towards the shows that because it's a kid show, it's a modern kid show. It's bad already. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I'm not saying we have to say that all of them are bad. I'm having a very hard. I'm just having a very hard time of remembering any of them that are actually good at the moment.
Yeah. Like, there are good shows, like there are, just as you said, right? Like My Little Pony.
Yeah.
It's just that it's growing, but I think there will be, or there can be,
good
a
kid
show.
Yeah, I agree that there can be good kid shows. I don't know if the new Animaniacs is good. I haven't watched it. I haven't heard anything bad about it. So actually, if anybody has anything to, has anybody seen the new Animaniacs? I'm curious.
No, I haven't.
Okay. That's the only one that I'll be honest, I have a little sliver of hope might be good.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. Like, if you really think that we should generalize things because of data and stuff like that. I respect that. I would respect that.
I think we
But-
should. I don't think he's saying generalize. Just get some of our information so we can base off of and see how we can get it better.
Yeah, but we have to be better.
Well, yeah,
as people too.
I think that's what Punch is saying too. I think we're both all basically coming from the same perspective. I think we're just kind of arguing past one another in an unintended sense. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not psychic. But I play one on TV. No, I don't.
But yeah, Punch, like I respect if that's nothing against you two, to be
Listen,
quite honest. And I'm not offended, not at all. Like if you think that I'm offended, not at all.
Hi, Blue. How are you?
Hey, Blue.
Right, which I would agree. It's not good to make sweeping generalizations. Like, you can definitely say that there is some information that helps. Are you still working? Dang, is this okay? So actually, I have been noticing you haven't been streaming this week. And I know that you saw put your stream schedule up. Is the reason you haven't been streaming this week is just because of how much you've been working? Work the whole day through. Work. Do. Oh, feels good. Okay,
But
fair.
good discussion, though.
It was. I would agree. It was a good discussion. See, this is why I like having you on here. This is why I like. Don't get me wrong. I like being by myself. But it's like if Punch is here, Interceptor is here, you're here, my friends are here. I can basically bounce ideas off of people, and it's a lot easier. It's like if you guys are here, it's a lot livelier. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, you're on nights now. Okay, so you're gonna be streaming days as well. Okay. So you're adjusting. Ooh, dang. Okay. Good luck with that. Yeah, it's like you live in a house. Do you live in a house, Blue? Instead, like not an apartment. That's not meant to be rude. I just am curious because I used to work overnights and I could not do it in an apartment. It was miserable. It was miserable. If I repeat stereotypes about janitors, are those sweeping generalizations? Wah, 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 wah. Oh, that's why you haven't streamed, because you don't want to stream outside your usual schedule. Okay, that's fair. Are you just permanently on overnights now, out of curiosity, Blue? So I was gonna say, you might just need to make a new schedule. I'm not trying to be rude, of course. Okay, so that might not be so bad. Yeah, I just... Like, during the summer... And maybe it's because my wife was there, too. Okay, for the next 2 months. Okay. That's not awful, then. So, okay. On the bright side, hey, at least you can catch the Guild Wars streams easier now, because we'll be here when you're waking up. Pew, 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 pew.
Are you going to do your soundboard again?
I mean, let me see if I can find something for the soundboard. Let me see.
Only for Blue. Blue, this is for you.
I'm just trying to find something. It's like, I don't know if I have anything that's appropriate. I gotta get some more stuff. Here. I'll give you a motivational one there, Blue.
Eat the pizza.
There you go. That's very motivational. Pizza! I love pizza. I'll be honest.
Ooh, you know we should do the pizza part of our charity stream.
Oh no! You're making me eat pizza for the charity stream. How awful! What a shame! What a shame!
What? There's nothing wrong with that.
There's not. That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh no, pizza.
Part of our
my weakness.
Part of our...
I'm also curious about the pretzel pizza. That's not as bad as you make. Oh, I mean, to be fair, Blue, I am considering basically just eating those really spicy nuts for the charity stream that Punch is doing on his channel, along with his wife and myself for. I should probably.
What day is that?
What was that?
July what?
July 4th. We are raising money for
Oh.
the Puppy Jake Foundation. The Puppy Jake Foundation is an organization that happens to raise money for veterans that happen to be, you know, either disabled, just you know, there's a various amount of reasons why. They basically get a dog that can go ahead and help them through either their PTSD or just if they happen to need meds or anything like that. So basically something to go ahead and help out the people that do help our country, because they really don't get, a lot of them really don't get the help they need, unfortunately.
I agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
that does sound good.
The dog that I have, I mean, having the puppy. You remember? Never mind.
I can get you the group here, Blue. Let me go ahead and pull you up the Puppy Jake Foundation. Yeah, I found out about them through my work in. Knights of Columbus. I was blanking there for a second. I love bread, but bread also loves me. Admittedly, I've already lost 10 pounds this year, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, you look thinner.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really trying to lose weight. During Lent, I'm fasting all day Wednesday, so not like. Don't get me wrong. I'm not fat. It's great that I'll be losing weight from fasting all day on Wednesday, but that's not the main reason I'm doing it. Because if that's the main reason that you're doing something, you're not doing it right.
Oh yeah, for fasting.
Yeah, for fasting, correct. I'm doing, or you know, like giving up. I'm doing it to look good. It's like, no, do it for God. And then if you happen to look better afterwards, that's a great secondary effect. But that should not be the primary.
I love bread too.
I do love bread.
I make focaccia bread. I don't know if you're familiar.
I am
with
not
focaccia
familiar
bread.
with Oh gosh, don't murder me!
It's an Italian bread. Italian made bread. I make those. I make
That's fair.
pan de sal.
I just I've been trying to exercise more, Kymela. I'm eventually going to start doing sit-ups, jumping jacks, and hopefully push-ups every day. At the moment, I'm getting to every other day.
I should
I was
do
gonna
that
say,
too.
I think
Kevin.
I think
Can
Blue.
you motivate me?
All right, yeah, I can start telling you which days I do it. I think Blue knows Pandesla, by the way.
Pan de sal.
Panda salad.
No! Not salad! It's bread!
Panda
It's
salad.
not salad. Pan de sal!
Panda salad.
How do you say mukbang?
How do you say what?
Mukbang? Hodgepodge?
Hodgepodge. Hodgepodge. Panda salad and hodgepodge.
Yeah, Punch, why don't you teach us how to do push-ups, man?
It's not a bad idea. Can I bench my son? He's about 40 pounds. Does that work? All right, I can start benching my son. I mean, he's wiggly too, so that'll probably add to it a little bit, right?
I mean, we should do some 14 too, eh? Kev?
I mean, yeah, we should. Babies are really good for doing curls. I do believe that. See, I'll be honest. I'm actually really glad that I've given up soda for 90 days. That probably has helped with my weight considerably. I've also given up like most sugars, like candy and stuff, except for on Sundays. My wife apparently is tempting me with cookies. Just start the Final Fantasy 14 workout program. Like,
Punch.
every level gains its entire workout. Ooh. Alright, I can only gain 1 level a day. Because otherwise I'll kill myself. I mean, I should get back to Final Fantasy 14 to be fair. I just... Don't die, Callie Wookie. No! Don't... Oh, she died. We can bring her back. I'm like 99% sure. Alright, she's back.
Wait, are we done with the mission?
Yeah, we've been done. We're getting your armor.
Oh.
Ooh, Ring Fit Adventure to...
This is what happens to me when I don't know what's going on.
I mean, you're just here for the story. It's like, here, let your train conductor be your guide. Buena, 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 buena. My saxophone's all the way over there. Ba-bum, bum, bum. Looking forward to practicing that again tomorrow. I've been really, really glad about getting back into the saxophone.
I played guitar.
I mean, you're right. Play for more than half an hour, guaranteed to die. You're not. You played guitar today.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sam's Club has a really good carbonated water, Kymela. I don't know if that helps you any, but I really like it because they have a pineapple one, a blackberry cucumber one, and a cherry limeade one. Admittedly, the cherry limeade one is the weakest of them, which is really weird for me because I love cherry.
I don't like cherry soda.
I like cherry soda. It has to be good cherry soda, though. Like, not all cherry sodas are created equally.
Just like we do?
Just like we do? What?
Oh, sorry. No, that's wrong. That's wrong.
I am not referring to LaCroix, actually, Punch. I am referring to, Sam's Club brand, Members Mark. Let me see if I can find it in a second.
Drink water and Coke Zero.
Ugh. I just like regular Coke. I'll see if I can find...
Like Coke.
I like Coke, too. I like Coke.
It better.
I like regular Coke. Admittedly, I will be drinking soda for the charity stream the Friday after Easter.
I'm excited for that, actually.
I think they have slightly. I think they have slightly more flavor Punch, but I also like LaCroix, so I may not be the best person to ask on that. I'm also excited, by the way, Kate. I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. A lot of people are talking.
There. I mean. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
What happened there?
Got real close to dying there, chat, didn't we? I think I saw 50, by the way, Kate, for how low I got to dying. 50, I think, was the number. I did not like seeing 50. I did not like seeing 50.
So after I get my armor, we'll call it a night. Because it's already almost...
That's fine. We can call it a night there. Chat really is popping off. I mean, do you really want to? And here, Kate, we've had good conversations. Chat is popping off, as Phil is saying. We're having a grand... Like, I'm having a grand old time. I think you're having a grand old time. I think chat's having a grand old time. It's like...
You guys... Wait for us next week.
What was that?
Next week.
Next week? I mean, all right, but are you going to take an hour to get here again?
No.
I know.
It was just...
To be fair, it worked out. I was able to read a chapter of Father Brown, and like we're good for reading for tonight, guys, because I read 20 pages, so we're good.
The problem, because Valheim, you need to wait for other people to join in.
Gotcha.
And and people were like not doing anything to kill the monster. And I'm like, let's just do it tonight. And I
Sure.
didn't realize it took a while,
Sure.
like an hour at least, to kill the dragon. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I thought I was like, let's just get over
Fair.
this with, and yeah, I'm like, I'd rather do it right now. Kill the dragon.
1 second.
And
I found the
we
one
can
that I was.
progress.
All right. So this is the one that I like to get punched. I think it tastes pretty good. Oh wow, it's really only $8? That's dang cheap. Son of a gun, that's cheap. Like, especially compared to LaCroix. Oh no, that LaCroix is the same price. Why is LaCroix so much cheaper at Sam's Club? Like, LaCroix is stupid expensive outside of Sam's Club.
Oh, it's like Costco.
Sam's Club. Sam's Club is kind of
Sam's
similar. Sam's Club is similar to Costco, but not quite the same. It's owned by Walmart. Oh, I don't want to die here. So, like, Sam's Club is actually really good compared to Walmart. I know Walmart has a really bad stigma, but Sam's Club is kind of great. Don't die,
I'm gonna
Kate.
die!
I'm running. All right, you're back. You're dead again. You're back.
I can't run! I can't run!
I was gonna say, the items are really good about making it so you can't run.
Why do we have to go here?
We don't, technically. I just wanted to see if we can. And, it's looking like we can. So I'll be honest, it's because I can. Although run, the healer's about to go down. Healer's back. Healer's dead. Healer's back. Healer's dead.
Okay, I'm just letting you kill the people first.
I'm working on it. We're getting there. And retailer's taking their cut. That's a good point. Is LaCroix actually anything at all? I think we've had, like, I haven't had this discussion, but I think that they've had this discussion over on Bearded Blevins' channel. It's just this. It's just discussing insect juice. So I think that the joke is that people were claiming for a while that it was made with the same stuff that isn't insecticide, but I don't think that's actually true. And what Megacorp doesn't have a bad stigma these days? You right. You right. None of them. They're all bad. All of them. Oscorp, but give it a few years. I'll get you next time, Spider-Man! Next time! Yeah, that's fair, KAMaximilian. I can understand that. Isn't it we'll meet again, Spider-Man? Not I'll get you next time. We'll meet again, Spider-Man! Maybe I'm just thinking of Donkey. I don't know. Oh. Wait, hold on. I want to check something. Do you? Nope, I'm checking the wrong area. What do you have? What fast casting do you have? Do you not have any extra fast casting? I thought I needed that. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, fast casting +1. I don't know if you guys... That works out. It's like, oh man, they're just all popping. Wait a second. They're not supposed to be all popping off. Oh, yes they are. This is the... okay, never mind. We're good. It's doing it right.
Oh, why are we walking?
So we're on the ice. Armor. That's what we're looking for. Yes, yes. You have... Oh, you're still rank 3. Armor's over here, Kate.
Ooh.
So yeah, it costs 675k total, and it also costs the mats.
Ingot. I think I
Yes,
have more
yes,
than
you
I
did.
have enough.
You did Heroes Ascent. Very cool.
But I don't think I have enough for...
Well, let's go check the Sunlight chest real quick. Oh, Sunlight chest is over here, by the way.
Yeah. Um, I have... I have 99 iron ingots.
Are you going for... You have 99 iron ingots? You're going for the Elite Templar armor, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Come back over here.
Ingots, let me check.
Like
Iron ingots.
the main thing that might be the problem here...
Alonian leather.
As I said, the Alonian leather square, I think, might be the real problem here. Because you don't have any of
Where
those,
do you
right?
get that? No.
Wait a second. There is no material traders here. Let's... I can't remember if we've got the material trader yet for us in the guild hall. Oh, did you leave the party? I guess you did. Go ahead and meet me in the guild hall real quick. I don't think we do have the trader yet because it costs a fair amount of money. How much money do you have, Kate?
19. Okay.
Well, yeah, I figured that. You have the rune trader, which that's good. Mesmer, fast casting. No, okay. Man, these drops a lot. Did everything drop? Everything but superior vigor. That doesn't really surprise me too much. Not gonna lie. Yeah, like I remember just about last year that domination magic I think was like 60k. I'm okay with it being cheaper now though. Don't get me wrong, that just means I can kite out more of my characters, but at the same time it's like, dang. That was nice money for the time. Hmm?
Oh, I'm just repeating what you're saying.
Ah. Go ahead and accept the invite. We're going to Lion's Arch real quick.
Alright.
In a second, that is. Let me go ahead and sell a few things, but not those. Do you have anything? You could start salvaging, by the way. Have you started salvaging your armor that you get from enemy drops?
Yep.
Okay. You got nothing. You got no more iron ingots from your enemy drop armor salvaging?
Nope.
Okay. We'll go to Lion's Arch real quick. Oh, if I could. Crafter's Corner. kind of. I know what I'm looking for. It'll just take me a second. Oh yeah, okay, that's actually fair. I meant to use a jaw honey. Jaw honey makes you go fast in town. Let's see. Rare material trader, right there. How much are the lonely leather squares? Hopefully not too much. Please don't be much. Don't make me sad. Oh, that's not too bad. Not too bad. Let me see how many you need. Ectos are going up. Not surprising. Obsidian's not too bad. I could go farm some more Ectos, but not quite yet. Not quite yet.
I have the Anchorites Morsad garments of major absorption. What do I do with those?
Come here. Trade me real quick. I want to see what you're talking about. Need 35 lonely leather squares. So that should mean 15 should do it.
Yeah.
Uh, 35? Yep, okay. That'll do. And do I have any of those? I may not. Give me 1 second, Kate. I'm double checking one other thing. Delgemore steel ingot. Please don't be expensive. Oh, that's gonna be the most expensive part. You only need 5 of those though? Okay. Yeah, I need like a little bit more. Give me 1 more plat. Alright, let me go ahead and show me what you're talking about.
Oh no, it's okay.
You already salvaged it?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second then. Alright. Okay, go ahead and take that. Oh, you'll also need a little bit more money, won't you? How much money did you say you had?
19.
Go ahead and accept that. I'll get it back to you in a second. So you need 51 more? Yeah. Make me broke, girl.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. At least if my math is right. Maybe my math is right? We'll find out. I think my math is wrong. Accept the offer. Kate.
I did.
You did now. Yes, that's true. There you go. All right. Well, that should be enough. I'm 90% sure.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and get you back there. Then we'll log out at the Iron Mines of Muladun next time. For next time.
Yeah.
Then we should be able to make more progress next time too. Like, we got most of the missions done, so yeah, go back to the armor. Yeah, you gotta keep going.
Templar Helm. Which one should I get?
Swordsmanship.
one?
Swordsmanship. Swordsmanship for sure.
Oh, I need 100 more for the ingots.
Oh, give me a second.
Never mind. I need 150 more.
Did you get your ingots out of storage?
Let me. Oh yeah, let me get that actually.
All right.
Never mind.
So I can't bring you the whole way.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's understandable.
Oh, I'm dumb. He's just consuming his items so that way he can go ahead and get his title. I don't know why I didn't think about that until now. He wasn't trying to show off his other thing. I feel like a jerk now. He wasn't doing anything wrong at all. I feel poopy. Oh, they should probably.
I need 50.
Iron ingots?
No, 44
Iron
iron ingots.
Okay.
And no,
So
4 platinum more.
you need 4 platinum more? Okay, so I was off by a little bit. How many iron ingots you said? 41?
44.
I just want to change what I have. Here. I'll give you 4 more. Hold on. Or 3 more. So you needed 44? Go ahead and take it. Okay. I'll have to give you 3 more after this, though. There you go.
There you go. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, as I said, you should be right there.
There you go.
Though. Put it on.
Yep. Poo. 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 Nice.
What's that? What?
Thank you, Kevin.
No problem. You can put your helm on too, by the way.
I don't like my helm. I like my thing.
Well, try your new helm. Your new helm you might like. I like my helm, but I need to go ahead and see. I like it. I think it looks
Oh,
good.
that's nice.
What color
Looks
set do you?
nice on the...
It does look nice. What color set do you want?
How do I change it?
Color? I can help with that. Do you want yellow?
If you're red, I should be red. I'm red.
I mean, all right. I was just asking if you wanted to get.
No, yellow is fine. Yellow's
Alright.
fine. Yellow's fine.
I was just asking. I was gonna make myself yellow was all.
Oh, okay, that's fine for me.
But I have more yellow, so I'd rather give you the yellow so I don't have to use up the red. I'm not gonna lie. Once I get some more dye, like I have a lot more yellow than I do red.
Okay, so how do I dye it?
Double click, hover it over your double click, and then just apply it, basically.
Oh, this is fine. Yellow's fine because it looks like gold.
That's true. It does.
Gold.
I wish I hadn't done strength. That's unfortunate.
Very nice. Nice.
Yeah. I'll have to get my helmet fixed. I got the wrong helmet, unfortunately, when I was crafting this, so. But yeah, now you have your elite armor, so.
Love it. Thank you, Kevin.
No problem. Don't ask me for anything ever again. I'm just kidding.
Oh!
I'm just kidding.
Oh, treat this as your Christmas gift to me.
Alright, I can do that. That works for me.
Yeah, this is the Christmas gift.
I was gonna say, that works too. I was gonna say, our armor sets work pretty well together.
Yeah, I like it.
I do too.
I like it.
As I said, I'll just have to get a new helmet, which I have enough money that I can do, so I'll do that later. This looks a lot better.
Yeah.
See, I'll just get the money for it off. Like, as I said, I do have the money technically. I just, broke again. That's alright. I just gotta start grinding. Like, I gotta start playing more Guild Wars. That's on me, not on you. Don't you feel bad one little bit.
Okay.
I think with that, though, it's time to wrap up and go to bed.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin,
No
for
problem.
waiting that long. Oh my
No, it's okay.
goodness, I'm
As I,
so
I
sorry.
gotta read an entire short story from Father Brown, so it's like it was a long time, but I made good use of it. All right, where do you want to end? Oh, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that Neil wears off after a time, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it does. Oh, there's my mouse.
This looks nice over here.
Goose. It's fine. Like just right here, or just on the ice itself?
Yeah, the ice itself. Yeah,
Okay.
this one's fine.
That works.
Can I kneel?
I mean, you can, but it's not permanent, unfortunately. Otherwise, I really wish it was. Yeah, you get up after sometimes. Like I know they, yeah, like I know that for Guild Wars 2 they made it permanent. I don't know why they didn't do that for Guild Wars 1, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, all right, there's your 1 point for Guild Wars 2 over Guild Wars 1. Neil's indefinite. Which I'm sure they probably could change it very easily in Guild Wars 1 if they wanted to. I could be wrong about that, though.
It's
Like,
just no, it's just easy algorithm.
yeah, I mean, I'd assume it was. I could be wrong, but I would assume that you're correct, yeah. I don't know if the sit really works. Oh, the sit's not too bad, actually. The sit essentially is a kneel. Okay. At least for me. I don't think it is for you. Because you have to be a lady.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yours, unfortunately, is not quite so much.
That's
Which,
fine.
as I say, obviously not your fault. Alright, let's go ahead and end with night prayer, then. I'm gonna grab my phone.
Okay.
Oh, 1 second, I gotta download the proper day. Since it's technically Saturday now, it is giving me Saturdays. But I really like Fridays. I really like Fridays, so. Alright. Oh, I did forget one more thing. As much as I love the music in Guild Wars, I don't want it on during prayer. During reading is fine, as people found out I had it on during Father Brown and the biography of St. Maximilian Kolbe, basically. I think we should be able to finish that next week, by the way. We're on the last chapter, essentially. If not next week, the week after. Anyways. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, will be forever. Amen. I confess to Almighty God and to you, my brothers and sisters, I have greatly sinned in my thoughts and my words, and I have done and I have failed to do. Through my most grievous fault. Therefore I ask Blessed Mary, ever Virgin, all the angels and saints, and you, my brothers and sisters, to pray for me to the Lord our God. May Almighty God have mercy on us, forgive us our sins, bring us to everlasting life. Amen. Let all mortal flesh keep silence, and with fear and trembling stand. Ponder nothing earthly minded, for with blessing in his hand, Christ our Lord to earth descends now, our full homage to demand. Rank on rank the host of heaven spreads its vanguard on the way, as the light of light descends now from the realms of endless day, that the powers of hell may vanish as the darkness clears away. Oh, they had a different one. You know what? We'll do the other one because I really like this one. Holy God, we praise thy name. Lord of all, we bow before thee. All on earth thy scepter claim. All in heaven above adore thee. Infinite thy vast domain. Everlasting is thy reign. Hark the loud celestial hymn. Angel choirs above are raising. Cherubim and seraphim in unceasing chorus praising, fill the heavens with sweet accord. Holy, holy, holy Lord, Holy Father, Holy Son, Holy Spirit, three we name thee, while in essence only one. Undivided God, we claim thee, and adoring bend the knee, while we own the mystery. Day and night I cry to you, my God. Prayer of a very sick person. This is your hour when darkness reigns. Lord my God, I call for help by day. I cry at night before you. Let my prayer come to your presence. O turn your ear to my cry, for my soul is filled with evils. My life is on the brink of the grave. I am reckoned as one in the tomb. I have reached the end of my strength, like one alone among the dead. Like the slain lying in their graves, like those you remember no more, cut off as they are from your hand. You have laid me in the depths of the tomb, in places that are dark, in the depths. Your anger wears down upon me. I am drowned beneath your waves. You have taken away my friends, and made me hateful in their sight. Imprisoned, I cannot escape. My eyes are sunken with grief. I call to you, Lord, all the day long. To you I stretch out my hands. Will you work your wonders for the dead? Will the shade stand and praise you? Will your love be told in the grave, or your faithfulness among the dead? Will your wonders be known in the dark, or your justice in the land of oblivion? Ask me, Lord, I call to you for help. In the morning my prayer comes before you. Lord, why do you reject me? Why do you hide your face? Wretched, close to death from my youth, I have borne your trials, I am numb. Your fury has swept down upon me. Your terrors have utterly destroyed me. They surround me all the day like a flood. They assail me altogether. Friend and neighbor you have taken away. My one companion is darkness. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, will be forever. Amen. Day and night I cry to you, my God. You are in our midst, O Lord. Your name we bear. Do not forsake us, O Lord our God. Into your hands, Lord, I commend my spirit. Into your hands, Lord, I commend my spirit. You've redeemed us, Lord God of truth. I commend my spirit. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. Into your hands, Lord, I commend my spirit. Protect us, Lord, as we stay awake. Watch over us as we sleep, that awake when we keep watch with Christ, and sleep, rest in his peace. Christ is the light of the nations and the glory of Israel. Lord, now you let your servant go in peace. Your word has been fulfilled. My own eyes have seen the salvation which you prepared in the sight of every people. A light to reveal you to the nations and the glory of your people Israel. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. As it was in the beginning, is now, and will be forever. Amen. Protect us, Lord, as we stay awake. Watch over us as we sleep, that awake when you keep watch with Christ, and sleep, rest in his peace. Let us pray. All-powerful God, keep us united with your Son in his death and burial, so that we may rise to new life with him, who lives and reigns forever and ever. Amen. May the all-powerful Lord grant us restful night and a peaceful death. Amen. Would you mind finishing us off, Kate?
Sure. Give me a moment.
Take your time, fully understand.
Okay. Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, espes nostra salve. A te clamamus, exules filii Eve, a te suspiramus, gementes et flentes, in hac lacrimarum vale. Ea ergo, advocata nostra, ilos tuos misericordes oculos ad nos converte. Et Iesu, benedictum fructum ventris tui, nobis Post hoc exilium ostende, O clemens, O pia, O dulcis Virgo Maria.
Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. Thank you very much as always, Kate.
Thank you again, Kevin.
Of course, thank you. And as always, it was beautiful, so I appreciate it. So, all right.
It was.
I think that will do
I'll
it for
see you
tonight.
next week.
Yep, see you next week. I will be back tomorrow in the morning with saxophone. But until then, you all have a good night. God bless. And remember that God loves each and every one of you. Go and sin no more. Good night, everybody. God bless.